After a slight hesitation, he decided to exchange for it. Although he was powerful now, he mainly relied on the enchanted magic saber and other magic arts to attack. It was more or less monotonous, so he wanted to enrich his attack methods. After making up his mind, he spent 2,000 energy points to make the exchange. The moment the exchange was successful, he quickly received a reply. Pegasus Meteor Fist was indeed a secret fist technique. When used, it would allow one to continuously throw out 100 punches in a second. Moreover, each punch had the same lethality as the main body. In other words, when Su-Chin used Pegasus Meteor Fist, it was equivalent to throwing out 100 punches in a row. The power would increase by 100 times. Not to mention being invincible among those of the same level, even killing enemies of a higher level would become easy. Chapter 234. Awesome. Su-Chin was very excited, and his face was filled with a bright smile. He only spent 2,000 energy points to exchange for a powerful secret fist technique, which was something he didn't expect before. At this point, it also meant that he had taken another big step forward on the path of invincibility. He even thought about how powerful each punch would be if he used it together with the heavenly hundredfold strength formula. TSK. Those who were one level higher than him were definitely no match for him. Those who were 2 levels higher than him would definitely not have an easy time even if they could resist his attacks. Later, his eyes fell on the zombies that were rushing over, and the corner of his mouth twitched slightly. Just in time to experiment on you guys. Then Su-Chin performed the Pegasus Meteor Fist and punched forward. In the next moment, 99 identical fists appeared around the fist. The momentum was like a rainbow, covering the sky and the sun. 100 fists gathered together like a mountain, pressing down on the zombies from the sky. There was a loud bang. The fist fell and set off a stormy wave among the zombies. 400 to 500 zombies were directly smashed into meat paste. Thousands of zombies were affected. Some were sent flying, and some had countless bones broken. Although they didn't die, they were seriously injured, lying on the ground and losing the ability to move. The terrifying lethality of the Pegasus Meteor Fist was vividly displayed at this moment. The power of one punch was so terrifying. It had become Su-Chen's most powerful trump card. Wu Yang and the others in the distance saw this scene, and they were all shocked to the extreme. One punch, just one punch, killed hundreds of zombies and injured thousands of zombies. It was too terrifying and too exaggerated. Chun-Ge is getting more and more powerful. Yang Hao looked at Su-Chin in a daze, and his eyes were full of admiration. Su-Chin was also stunned by this punch, and it took him a while to recover. After being stunned for a while, those zombies roared and rushed toward him again. Su-Chen's eyes gradually narrowed, and another Pegasus Meteor Fist was thrown out. Boom! The terrifying fist aura wreaked havoc, killing hundreds of zombies once again. Originally, there were more than 3,000 zombies that rushed out, but after being hit by 2 Pegasus Meteor Punch, only a few hundred zombies were still able to move. However, they still didn't know what fear was. They still bared their teeth and charged towards Su-Chin. Facing a few hundred zombies, Su-Chin didn't use any killing moves. With a wave of his hand, he unleashed a barrage of spells of various elements. 1 minute later, all the zombies were dead. Even the heavily injured zombies were killed one by one. Seeing hundreds of light beams on the ground, Su-Chin smiled. Then he retracted his gaze and looked behind him. Wu Yang's group and the intelligent war chariot continued to kill zombies, and it was a one-sided slaughter. It wouldn't take long for them to kill all the remaining zombies. Knowing this, Su-Chin didn't want to go over and help. Instead, he started to pick up the fragments. The first thing he picked up was a red fragment. Picked up level 2 Constitution Potion *111. The fragments are full. Can be used or exchanged for energy points. Use. Su-Chin happily put the level 2 Constitution Potion into his storage bag. Yang Hao and the others had been level 1 evolvers for some time, and they had been fighting non-stop recently. Their combat experience was gradually increasing, and their foundation was very solid. It was time to level up. The level 2 Constitution Potion was just right for them to use. Chapter 235. Then, Suchin continued to pick up the fragments. Picked up Desert Sandfire Fragment *1, 910. Fragments are not full, cannot be used, can be exchanged for energy points. No exchange. Picked up Apple Tree Seed Fragment *1, 11. Fragments are full, can be used or exchanged for energy points. No exchange for energy points. Picked up Magic Fusion Gem Fragment *1, 410. Fragments are not full, cannot be used, can be exchanged for energy points. No exchange. After picking up the fragments, Wu Yang and the others had already killed all the remaining zombies and were digging for energy stones. Suchin also returned to pick up the remaining fragments. An hour later, the remaining fragments were picked up, and Suchin began to count the goods. This time, a total of more than 1,000 fragments were dropped, and most of them were exchanged for energy points. The number of energy points had once again reached 1,000 points. Other than that, Desert Sandfire had also been collected and integrated into the fire element magic. At this point, there were already 4 elements that had been integrated into the concrete objects. The fire element had been integrated into Desert Sandfire. The wood element had been integrated into Serene Pool Divine Wood. The lightning element had been integrated into Wild Thunder. The ice element had been integrated into Mysterious Ice of the Netherworld. The spells of these 4 elements were far more powerful than the spells of the other elements. They were even comparable to level 5 spells. If released through Enchanted Sword, the power would completely exceed level 5 and be enough to cause a fatal blow to a level 5 evolver. In addition, there were more than 20 bottles of Constitution Potion of various levels, including 2 level 3 bottles. It was just enough to help Wu Yang and Yang Lingtian advance to level 3. After counting the gains, Suchin looked at Etian City. The appearance of the beastmen in Etian City meant that there must be a realm passage inside. Moreover, this passage was not complete and could not be entered and exited at will. Otherwise, there would be more than one beastman. Captain Wu, I'm going to enter the city to take a look. You guys be careful. Before leaving, Suchin found Wu Yang and reminded him. Don't worry. Wu Yang smiled. Now that the zombies were all killed, there would be no more danger. In addition, there was also a mechanical soldier that was comparable to a level 4 evolver, so there would not be any danger. Suchin nodded and flew straight towards Etian City. Etian City was desolate. There were collapsed buildings everywhere. It was as if it had become a ruin. The surroundings were silent and filled with a strange aura. Suchin kept looking around, but didn't find a single zombie or half-beast. As for the Interrealm passage, no one knew where it was hidden. After walking around the city for a while, Suchin didn't find any clues, so he simply released his spiritual force to explore. Soon, he sensed traces of energy fluctuations somewhere at the foot of the mountain. This should be the entrance to the domain passage. Suchin narrowed his eyes and muttered to himself. There was also an interrealm passage in the desolate Lake Mountain Ranges mine. At that time, he was worried that he would encounter danger, so he didn't go down to investigate. Now his strength had increased by leaps and bounds. He could even kill a level 5 evolver, so he had the intention to see the interrealm passage. Arriving at the foot of the mountain, Suchin punched a stone wall. The energy fluctuations were coming from this stone wall. Rumble. After the stone wall shattered, a dazzling white passage appeared. It was about 3 meters in diameter and shone brightly. It contained a terrifying killing intent. Sometimes it was weak, sometimes it was very violent, and very unstable. Suchin didn't dare to get close because that killing intent made him feel a sense of fear. After staring for a while, he raised his hand and shot out a thunder ball, which flew into the interrealm passage. Chapter 236. This domain passage was likely to be connected to the world of the half-beast race. Once it was completely stabilized, the half-beast race army would invade Thousand Feather Island. Without knowing the cultivation level of the strongest half-beast race expert, Suchin did not intend to let the domain passage continue to be stabilized. There was a loud rumbling sound. After a flash of lightning in the domain passage, the terrifying killing intent completely broke out. An invisible murderous aura shot out from it, like a super strong storm, cutting everything around into pieces. Even though Suchin was far away, he was not spared. However, he had the ancient god-demon body, and the murderous aura did not cause any substantial harm to him, but only made him a little embarrassed. The power of the domain is really strong. Suchin murmured with lingering fear. He could imagine that if he was in the domain passage and suffered such a violent attack, even he would have suffered a lot. With the explosion of the thunderstorm technique, Suchin found that the domain passage was more chaotic than before, and it seemed to be about to collapse. Suchin's purpose was to destroy the domain passage, and of course he hoped that it would be as violent as possible. Then he condensed another thunderball, and was about to shoot it out. At the other end of the domain passage, a huge figure appeared, which was at least 10 meters tall. Although it was far away, Suchin still felt a majestic and terrifying aura. Obviously, the person who came was a super expert of the half-beast race. Suchin even thought that his cultivation level was at least above level 6, otherwise he would not have such a strong feeling. Human, how dare you destroy the domain passage of our half-beast race? Do you know that this is a capital offense? There was a violent rebuke from the other end of the domain passage. There was extreme contempt and anger in his words, as if he could crush Suchin to death at any time. Go to hell. Who do you think you are? How dare you threaten me? Suchin snorted coldly, raised his hand and shot out a thunderball. With a roar, the entire interdomain passage began to tremble violently. The surrounding mountains were affected, and a large portion of them collapsed. Countless rocks rolled down, but before they could land on the ground, they were turned into powder by the murderous aura that shot out. Ah, human, you deserve to die. Seeing that Suchin had ignored his threat and even dared to continue destroying the domain passage, the half-beastman roared in anger. Are you that awesome? Why don't you come out and bite me? Suchin provoked. Although the other party was very strong, if they could not pass through the realm passage, they could not pose any threat to him. He could tease it however he wanted, and he could release another lightning ball at any time to completely destroy the realm passage. This is infuriating. The half-beast men couldn't do anything to Suchin and flew into a rage. Human, if you stop destroying, I can give you some benefits. After taking a deep breath, as if he had figured something out, the half-beast man suppressed his anger and said in a low voice. They had spent a lot of materials to build the realm passage here, and after decades of stabilization, it was about to take shape, but Suchin had destroyed it. Even so, he did not want the realm passage to be completely destroyed. Since he could not do anything to Suchin, he had the idea of negotiating. Even if he had to pay some price, he wanted Suchin to stop. Hearing this, Suchin's eyes lit up, and his thoughts slowly turned. Destroying this realm passage was just a casual matter, but before that, wouldn't it be more satisfying if he could cheat the other party? Chapter 237. What can you give me? If I'm satisfied, I can consider it, Suchin asked calmly. The half-beast race member was overjoyed. He was most afraid that Suchin would do something stupid and not mention any conditions. He was determined to destroy the domain passage. Since there was room for discussion, everything could be discussed. What do you want? The half-beast asked. Seeing that you're quite sincere, I won't ask for much. 10,000 level 4 and above energy stones will do, Suchin said naturally. Considering that the next upgrade of the mechanical soldiers and intelligent war chariots required level 4 energy stones, and he only had one, he might as well take the opportunity to extort some. Of course, he also knew that 10,000 level 4 energy stones was an astronomical figure. The other party would definitely not be able to take out so many. The reason why he asked for such an exorbitant price was to wait for the other party to bargain. What? Are you so poor that you've gone crazy? As expected, the half-beast was enraged when he heard this number. 10,000 level 4 energy stones required the killing of 10,000 level 4 zombies or level 4 mutated beasts. Putting aside the fact that there were not that many high-level zombies, even if there were, how long would it take? How many experts would it take to kill all of them? So there's no room for discussion? Suchin rubbed his nose, and his voice became cold. The half-beast suppressed his anger. I can give you 100 level 4 energy stones at most. Nothing more. Energy stones and energy stones were used for the same purpose. If he only gave him 100, he could still afford it. Hearing that it was only 100, Suchin was unhappy. Damn it, there's no such harsh bargaining. Isn't it supposed to be 50%? If you cut off 99% of it, what else can I do? Do you think I'm a beggar? You want to get rid of me with just 100 energy stones? Suchin snorted coldly. Lightning flashed between his fingers. This was a sign that he was about to cast the explosive thunder spell. Wait a minute. Seeing that Suchin was about to make a fool of himself again, the half-beast was angry and anxious. He quickly said, I can add another 50 stones. 5,000. This is my minimum requirement, Suchin said calmly. The beastmen clenched their teeth, wishing they could tear Suchin into pieces. However, in order to calm Suchin down, he said patiently, Level 4 energy stones are not as common as cabbages. Even if we were to add up all the energy stones in the Orc continent, we might not even have 5,000 of them. Suchin scoffed. How could an entire continent not have 5,000 grade 4 energy stones? Who are you trying to fool? However, he could also imagine that the possibility of the other party taking out 5,000 stones was very slim. Following the principle of cheating as much as he could, he said, 1,000 level 4 energy stones. This is my bottom line. 1,000. The corner of the beastman's mouth twitched. After thinking for a long time, he finally said, Okay, but I need time to prepare. How long? Suchin asked. About an hour. Suchin nodded. Then I'll wait for you for an hour. The orc didn't say anything else and turned around to leave. Suchin stood where he was and waited quietly. An hour later, the beastman appeared on the other side of the interworld passage again. Human, this is for you. But remember to keep your promise. The beastman was very straightforward. He carried a cloth bag and threw it directly into the interworld passage. Just as the cloth bag was about to fly out of the interworld passage, it suddenly exploded. Hundreds of white crystal threads shot out from it and instantly merged into the passage. There was a brief moment of stability in the turbulent passageway, and then 4 figures rushed out of the passageway. Seeing this, Suchin narrowed his eyes and laughed disdainfully. Just a few level 4 evolvers and you dare to play dirty with me? Chapter 238. Suchin could clearly see that the 4 half-beastmen who came out of the interworld passage were all level 4 evolvers. Moreover, he also understood that the half-beastmen did not spend an hour to collect energy stones. He was looking for something to stabilize the interworld passage, so that the 4 of them could pass through and kill Lu Sheng. If it were anyone else, they would definitely not be able to survive facing 4 evolvers of the same level. However, Suchin was different. He was invincible among those of the same level. Not to mention 4 evolvers of the same level, even if there were 10 times more of them, he would still be able to kill them easily. Arrogant human brat, die. The 4 half-beastmen rushed out and attacked Suchin at the same time. When the 4 of them joined forces, their aura was quite terrifying. You overestimate yourselves. Suchin snorted disdainfully. When the 4 of them got close, he punched out. Whoosh, whoosh. A whistling sound was heard. 100 fist shadows appeared in the air, each of them emitting a faint golden light. This punch perfectly combined the Pegasus Meteor Fist and Golden Scale Arm. What kind of fist technique is this? Why is it so terrifying? The half-beastmen on the other side of the interworld passage opened their eyes wide in shock. The 4 half-beastmen who rushed towards Suchin were even more shocked. Facing the sky full of fist shadows, their breathing almost stopped. In the next moment, there was the sound of flesh being punched. The 4 half-beastmen each suffered more than 20 heavy punches. Their skin and flesh were lacerated, and their bones were broken inch by inch. They turned into 4 meat paste and collapsed on the ground. Moreover, each of the corpses dropped a fragment, and one of them was purple gold. The purple gold fragment represented energy points, and its value was self-evident. Suchin was extremely excited. He quickly walked forward and grabbed the purple gold fragment. Picked up 2000 energy point fragment *111. The fragment is full. Can be used or exchanged for energy points. Use. Suchin did not hesitate at all. After picking up this fragment, he continued to pick up the other 3 fragments. Just as Suchin was busy picking up the fragments, the half-beast on the other side of the domain passage looked somewhat dazed. Suchin's powerful punch had easily killed 4 powerhouses of the same level, which had deeply shocked him. With his strength as a level 6 evolutionary, killing 4 level 4 evolutionaries was not difficult, but it was impossible for him to do it as easily as Suchin. To think that there is such a monstrous existence among the human race. The half-beast race member muttered in disbelief. As far as he knew, the human race was the weakest race among the 10,000 races. They had always been bullied by the 10,000 races. Not to mention geniuses or monsters, it was already very difficult to find an expert who was on the same level. However, Suchin's appearance completely overturned his understanding. Suchin was so strong that even the geniuses of the 5 super clans were no match for him. Moreover, Suchin looked very young. He might not even be 20 years old. A 20-year-old level 4 evolutionary was already shocking, and it was even more frightening that he had the strength to crush those of the same level. The half-beast race even thought that once Suchin grew up, he would definitely become a super expert. He might even lead the human race to fight against the 5 super clans. Damn it! We can't let this human grow. The half-beast race member muttered fiercely. However, no matter how much he wanted to kill Suchin, there was nothing he could do with the domain passage between them. Suchin picked up the remaining 3 fragments and looked at the half-beast clan member. He said sarcastically, "You want to kill me with just you alone? Why don't you take a look at yourself? Do you have the ability to do so? Trash." Chapter 239. Being mocked by Suchin to his face, the orc's face turned pale. Surprisingly, he did not fly into a rage. Instead, he said patiently, "Human, you're very powerful. You've already gained my approval. We can continue our deal." Since he could not do anything to Suchin, he wanted to continue negotiating with Suchin to protect the interrealm passage. "You have level 4 energy stones on you, right?" Suchin did not continue to provoke him. Although it was satisfying to scold him, there were no substantial benefits. He might as well take the opportunity to get some energy stones. "I don't have 1,000 level 4 energy stones on me, but I can prepare them quickly. I won't lie to you this time," the orc said honestly. Previously, he thought that sending 4 subordinates would be enough to kill Suchin, so he did not prepare any energy stones. "How many level 4 energy stones do you have now? Give them to me first," Suchin said loudly. The orc opposite him was much more cunning than he thought. He would not believe him. "I only have 100 on me. I'll give them to you now," the orc replied and threw out a cloth bag. In order to appease Suchin, he did not cheat. There were indeed 100 level 4 energy stones in the cloth bag. The cloth bag flew out of the interrealm passage and landed in Suchin's hands. Suchin released his spiritual power to check it. After confirming that there were no mistakes, he put it away in his storage bag. Then he smirked. Lightning flashed in his hand, and a ball of lightning slowly formed. "Brat, you didn't keep your word," the orc roared angrily. Seeing that Suchin had accepted the energy stones, and was about to continue forming the explosive thunder spell, the orc was shocked. He knew that he might have been tricked by Suchin. "Haha, I didn't keep my word." Suchin sneered, then said sarcastically, "You said that you were going to prepare the energy stones, but you sent your subordinates to kill me. Now you're saying that I didn't keep my word. You half-beasts are really shameless." The half-beast tribesman gritted his teeth and said humbly, "I was wrong in the past, but this time, I promised to prepare the energy stones for you." They had spent a lot of effort and a lot of materials on the interdomain passage, so they had to protect it no matter what. At the same time, he was filled with regret. If he had known that Suchin was so powerful, he would not have arranged for people to kill Suchin. Now, not only did he lose everything, but he was also led by Suchin by the nose. He really felt like he had shot himself in the foot. In fact, he did not know that even if he handed over the energy stones, Suchin would still destroy the realm passage. In Suchin's heart, cooperating with the strange races was like asking a tiger for its skin. Of course, he wouldn't do such a thing. From the beginning to the end, he had only wanted to swindle the energy stones. Suchin rubbed his nose and teased. Kneel down and call me Grandpa, and I might consider it. He could sense that the beastmen seemed to be very afraid of the domain passage being destroyed. Since he had grasped her weakness, he naturally had to take advantage of the opportunity to pinch her. What? The half-beast tribesman almost fainted from anger. He was a dignified level 6 evolver, and could be called an overlord on the half-beast continent. It had always been others who knelt to him. When had he ever knelt to others? Moreover, the person he was kneeling to was a lowly human, so he was even more unwilling. Human, don't push your luck. The half-beast tribesman felt greatly humiliated, but he forced himself not to fly into a rage. Looks like you're not going to give me face? Suchin pursed his lips and directly condensed a thunderball, and looked like he was going to throw it out. Chapter 240. Stop it. The orc was panicking. The interrealm passageway had been hit by 2 violent thunder skills. It was already on the verge of collapsing. If it was hit by another one, it would definitely collapse. What? Have you made up your mind? Suchin asked calmly. All right, I agree. In order to protect the interrealm passageway, the orc was ready to go all out. He fell to his knees with a thud. His body was close to 10 meters tall. When he fell to his knees, it was as if a small mountain had fallen to the ground. Suchin nodded his head slightly and said, Call me Grandpa now. Otherwise, I'm going to attack you. Upon hearing this, the orc's huge body trembled violently. Call him Grandpa? Was it not enough for an overlord to kneel? And he had to call a weak human Grandpa? This was worse than killing him. Human, don't push your luck. The orc gritted his teeth. A towering rage surged in his heart. At this moment, he swore to himself that as long as he entered the mysterious heavenly mainland, he would capture this despicable human at all costs. He would let him taste all the pain and regret that he was born in this world. I'm pushing my luck. What are you going to do about it? Suchin scolded and threatened again. I'll give you 3 breaths of time. If you don't call me Grandpa, I won't hold back anymore. Suchin had grasped the orc's weakness and had him under control. No matter how powerful he was, he would still be toyed with in the palm of his hand. Seeing that the orc did not respond, Suchin began to count down. 3, 2, stop, I'll call you. The orc bit his lips until they bled. It was as if he had gone through an intense struggle. In the end, he bowed his head and called out softly, Grandpa. Are you a mosquito? Who are you calling for? Louder. Suchin scolded. The orc was stunned. What the F***CK? I've already knelt to you. I've already called you Grandpa, and you're still not satisfied? Are you still a human? Why are you even more tyrannical than us half-beasts? Louder. Shout from the bottom of your heart. Don't make me wait too long, Suchin urged with a threatening tone. Gulp. The orc swallowed his saliva and clenched his fists so tightly that his nails dug into his flesh. Hurry up, my patience is limited. Suchin scolded again. Grandfather. The beast man finally compromised and shouted loudly. The voice was very loud and clear, and seemed to be filled with indignation and anger. Even though they were separated by the domain passage, Suchin felt his ears buzzing. Rubbing his ears, Suchin's face darkened as he snorted. Trash like you wants to be my grandson? Why don't you take a piss and look at yourself in the mirror? Are you worthy? Hearing this, the beastmen were petrified on the spot. He was devastated and furious. You can't bully people like this. You're the one who asked me to call you Grandpa. And you're the one who said that I'm unworthy. F***CK, are you still human? Is this how you play? Do you really think us half-beasts are idiots? Kid, I've already compromised. I hope you don't dig your own grave. After a long time, the orc raised his head. His eyes were cold and his voice was as cold as a glacier. Suchin felt that it was about time. He still had many things to ask, so he stopped teasing him. He coughed lightly and said, What's the cultivation of the strongest person in your half-beasts? He had already shed all pretense of cordiality with the orc race. There would be a battle in the future. Before that, he had to figure out the strength of the other party and prepare in advance. More than 10 levels, the orc said arrogantly without hesitation. The reason why he told the truth was to intimidate Suchin. Chapter 241. The Orc tribe is very powerful. Suchin muttered to himself. Not every race had an existence that surpassed level 10. Take the Green Tortoise tribe as an example. Their strongest member was only level 4. Based on this, it could be seen that even if the Orc tribe was not as powerful as the 5 great tribes, they could still be considered as a second-tier tribe. Human, the Orc tribe is very powerful. If you submit to us, you will have made a great contribution when we conquer the mysterious heavenly mainland. The Orc tribe member tried to convince Suchin. However, before he could say anything, he was interrupted by Suchin. Shut up. Who do you think you are? Even if the 5 major races are like ants in my eyes, you still want me to get lost? That's just wishful thinking. Suchin said with a look of disdain. He wasn't boasting about anything. He relied on picking up fragments to increase his strength. As his strength continued to increase, the number of zombies he killed would only increase. It would not take long for him to reach level 10. In addition to the many skills he had, the 5 great tribes would not be a threat to him. Shameless. The Orc tribe member snorted at Suchin's words. The 5 great races were the most powerful races among the thousands of races. Suchin was just a weak human with a cultivation level of level 4. How dare he look down on the 5 great tribes? Was he not afraid of biting his tongue? Suchin did not argue with the Orc tribe member. Instead he asked, the Orc tribe is not the same as the zombies. How do you control the zombies? When he was at the mine in the Huangza Mountains, the Green Tortoise tribe members could also control the zombies. This caught his attention. This is a secret of our tribe. Do you think I will tell you? The Orc tribe member snorted. In fact, the Orc tribe was not the only tribe that could control the zombies. The reason why they did not tell him was because they felt embarrassed. This was because the method of controlling the zombies was taught by the Undead tribe. If one wanted to learn this method, they would have to submit to the Undead tribe. In other words, the half-beast race was just a subsidiary force of the Undead race. In any case, the half-beast race was a first-rate race among the 10,000 races. Yet they had pledged allegiance to another race. If this news were to spread, wouldn't they be ridiculed by the other races? If you don't tell me, I'll blow up the realm passage. Suchin did not care whether the other party was telling the truth or not. He continued to manipulate him. Brat, don't go too far. The Orc clenched his teeth and roared. He had been led by the nose by Suchin until now. He had knelt down and called him Grandpa, but Suchin was still unforgiving. He had given an inch and wanted a mile. He was about to lose his patience. *CK your grandmother. So what if I bully you? Su coldly snorted and continued. I'll still give you 3 breaths of time. As soon as he finished speaking, he did not give the Orc a chance to reply and began the countdown. 3, 2. It's the Undead race. Our 2 races are in a cooperative relationship. It was them who gave us the method. The half-beast race couldn't withstand the pressure and said dejectedly. The Undead race. Suchin muttered. At that time, he learned from the Night Devil race that the Undead race claimed to be immortal and indestructible. However, they actually turned into zombies after death. Of course, since they were one of the 5 super races, they could not be compared to ordinary zombies. They could be considered the ancestors of zombies. It was reasonable for them to have the method to control zombies. Chapter 242. Grandson will meet again if fate allows. After figuring out what was going on, Suchin did not want to be long-winded. He swung his hand and threw the thunderball into the boundary passage. Then he activated the rapid boots and turned to fly out of Etion City. The boundary passage was already very unstable. If it was hit by another thunderstorm skill, it might be completely destroyed. At that time, the damage caused would be unimaginable. He had to leave as soon as possible. Seeing that Suchin did not keep his promise, the half-beast tribesman was so angry that the corners of his mouth trembled. However, before he could curse, he saw the entire boundary passage begin to collapse. The energy fluctuations produced were unusually violent, giving people a feeling that it could tear everything in the vicinity apart. Seeing this, the half-beast tribesman's face changed drastically. Like Suchin, he turned and fled. On the other side, Suchin had just rushed out of Etion City, when an earth-shattering sound came from behind him. Then the ground under his feet shook violently. Suchin did not stop and continued to fly forward. He ran for 2 miles in one breath before he stopped and looked back. He saw that Etion City and the towering mountain had turned into ruins. Choking smoke and dust curled up, covering the sky and the sun. The power of the boundary passage is indeed awesome. Suchin sighed and sighed. Wu Yang and the others were also shocked by the shocking changes in Etion City. Will Suchin be okay? Tanlin's heart was in a mess. The others were also worried as they looked in the direction of Etion City. Gradually, a tall figure appeared in their line of sight, and it was dashing towards them. It's Chungu, he's back. Yang Hao shouted excitedly. Seeing that the person who came was really Suchin, everyone was relieved. Soon Suchin ran to them. Suchin, are you okay? Tanlin and Yang Qian greeted him and looked at Suchin in a daze. Don't worry. Suchin smiled. Suchin, did you destroy Etion City? Wu Yang walked forward and probed. It was destroyed by the power of the realm. Suchin turned to look at Wu Yang and explained. There was a realm passage inside that was connected to the Beastman's continent. I destroyed it with my thunderstorm technique. Oh. Wu Yang nodded, secretly surprised. He had never thought that there would be a hidden realm passage in Etion City. Fortunately, Suchin had discovered and destroyed it in time. Otherwise, the alien race would have entered through the domain passageway and brought about another calamity to the humans here. When Suchin saw that all the energy stones had been dug out, he called for everyone to get into the car. Then he took out the Constitution Potion and distributed it. Wu Yang and Yang Lingtian each took a bottle of level 3 Constitution Potion, while the others, including the 3 mutated wolves, took level 2 Constitution Potion. Suchin, can this potion help me advance to a level 3 evolver? Wu Yang trembled as he spoke. Although Suchin did not explain, he could vaguely guess. Last time, Suchin had given him a bottle of potion, which made him a level 2 evolver in one fell swoop. This time, wouldn't he become a level 3 evolver? Thinking of this, his breathing became heavy. Originally, he was already satisfied with becoming a level 2 evolver. He never thought that he would have the chance to become a level 3 evolver. This was something he did not even dare to dream of. One must know that a level 3 evolver could be considered a top expert. Huangqin of King Kong City was able to rule a large gathering place because he relied on the strength of a level 3 evolver. Yang Lingtian on the side was also very excited. He quietly stared at Suchin, waiting for his reply. Under everyone's gaze, Suchin smiled slightly and said with certainty, after taking the level 3 Constitution Potion, you will quickly become a level 3 evolver. There is no doubt about this. Chapter 243. Hearing this, Wu Yang and Yang Lingtian looked at each other. Then, without any hesitation, they raised their heads and drank the level 3 Constitution Potion in their hands. Chungu, what about the potions in our hands? Yang Hao looked at Suchin, his eyes full of hope. You guys have the level 2 Constitution Potion. After drinking it, you will naturally become a level 2 evolved person, Suchin explained. Thank you, Chungu. Yang Hao was ecstatic. He picked up the Constitution Potion and poured it into his mouth. Chao Ran and Sherdaniu also fought to be the first to drink it, as if they were afraid that others would snatch it from them. Tan Lin and the other two would not miss the opportunity to increase their strength. They drank the Constitution Potion, one after another. As for the 3 mutated wolves, Suchin fed them the Constitution Potion first. Then he exchanged 3 bottles of level 2 magic potion from the Doomsday Mall. They were ice, fire, and wood. Then he fed them again. At this point, not only did the 3 mutated wolves become level 2 evolved person, but the spellcaster also reached level 2. However, compared to Suchin, who was an all-elemental spellcaster, they were all single-elemental spellcasters. After everyone had successfully leveled up, Suchin took out another upgrade gem and leveled up the mechanical soldier to level 4. He also installed 20 level 4 energy stones on it. The remaining level 4 energy stones were all used on the intelligent chariot. This time, Suchin did not choose to upgrade the intelligent chariot's defense and attack power. Instead, he mainly upgraded its detection range. If he wanted to hunt more zombies, he would have to constantly search for the whereabouts of zombies. The original detection range of 100 kilometers was too limited. After the upgrade, the detection range soared to 200 kilometers. This way, he would be able to discover more zombies. After a simple meal, the intelligent chariot was activated and began to search for zombies. Suchin focused his gaze on the central control screen. As the detection range expanded, traces of zombies quickly appeared on the central control screen. However, there were too few of them. At most, there were only a few hundred zombies. Suchin was not interested in them at all. After aimlessly driving for half a day, the intelligent chariot still did not find a large number of zombies. Suchin was a little anxious. He did not want to keep wasting time. He even thought he might as well go back. At the very least, there were large numbers of zombies in Tiannan Colony and Flying Bird Colony. After killing the zombies in those two places, if he could not find a large number of zombies, he would go to Yulin. Yulin District is the largest district in Thousand Feather Island, and there are many different forces there. Maybe there will be a medium-sized zombie tide. Then wouldn't it be more fun? More pieces. With this thought in mind, when he was about to order the intelligent war chariot to return, he suddenly noticed a large number of red and blue dots appearing on the central control screen. Among them, the number of red dots was at least 10,000, while the number of blue dots was at least several thousand. Seeing this, Suchin moved. The red dots represented zombies and mutant beasts, the black dots represented aliens, and the blue dots represented humans. They were mixed together. This meant that there were aliens leading a zombie army to besiege the human colony. He certainly would not miss the opportunity to hunt zombies. He fixed his eyes on the central control screen. Soon, he found that the zombies and humans had gathered in a small colony called Temple of Heaven City. It was close to 200 kilometers away from here. Satoshi, go to Temple of Heaven City at full speed. Suchin ordered. Chapter 244. Roger that. The intelligent war chariot sped up and headed toward the Temple of Heaven City. Chunge, did you find the zombies? Yang Hao and the other two came to Su Chen's side. After evolving to level 2, the three of them were eager to fight the zombies as soon as possible to prove their strength. We found a small group of zombies. It will take more than an hour for them to arrive. You should rest first, Su Chen replied. Got it, Chunge. The three of them retreated to the side and started to discuss something. Su Chen sat in the driver's seat and closed his eyes to rest. After about 2 hours, the intelligent war chariot stopped a few hundred meters away from the Temple of Heaven City. Su Chen squinted and looked at the Temple of Heaven City. The gate of the Temple of Heaven City was open, and a large number of people were gathered at the gate. Outside the city, there was an army of zombies. There were at least 10,000 of them. Su Chen felt that the scene was very strange. Normally, the weaker side would use the advantage of the city to defend themselves. Why would they rush out to fight the zombies? Wasn't it like throwing an egg against a rock? Wasn't it suicidal? Su Chen looked at the scene for a while and found something interesting. Although the humans and the zombies were at loggerheads, they were in a stalemate. Both sides seemed to be restraining themselves. Are they negotiating? Su Chen murmured. It was very unreasonable for both sides to not attack. That was why he had this idea. They're about to make a move, Wu Yang suddenly reminded. Su Chen's heart skipped a beat, and he looked forward. A zombie with skin as black as ink walked out of the group of zombies, looking like a piece of charcoal. A woman in black walked out from the group of humans, followed by a male zombie. Seeing that, Su Chen was a little confused. Humans and zombies working together to fight against zombies? It was unbelievable. Since when were humans and zombies so close? The others also noticed this and started to discuss it. Su Chen, there are many zombies among the humans, but their relationship seems to be very good. Wu Yang pointed at a certain spot on the human side and reminded. Oh, Su Chen raised his eyebrows and looked in the direction Wu Yang was pointing. Sure enough, he saw a dozen zombies mixed in the crowd. Moreover, not only were there no gaps between them, they were even talking about something. Their relationship seemed to be quite good. Could it be that they are all intelligent zombies? A dozen of them appeared all of a sudden? Su Chen's jaw dropped slightly. Ordinary zombies couldn't talk, and only intelligent zombies could. However, a dozen of them appearing at once was a little too exaggerated. Moreover, even if they were intelligent zombies, they shouldn't be able to get along so well with humans, right? Su Chen was getting more and more puzzled. Just as he was about to go over and take a look, he suddenly heard something. The other side had already made their move. The woman in black and the male zombie joined forces to deal with the charred zombie. Judging from the extent of their attacks, they both had the strength of level 3 evolvers. However, although they were at the same level, the charred zombie's strength was obviously stronger. His hands were as hard as iron, and there was a layer of black gas wrapped around them. Not only could it easily block weapons, but the black gas seemed to be a very fierce poisonous gas. The woman in black and the male zombie were very afraid. Chapter 245. Under such suppression, the woman in black and the male zombie were forced to retreat. It wouldn't be long before they were defeated. This charred black zombie is interesting. Su Chen muttered and glanced at the control screen. Soon, he noticed that there was a black, a blue, and a red dot entangled with each other on the control screen. He immediately understood that the black dot was the charred black zombie. He was also from another race. As for which race he was from, he didn't know. Satoshi, go take a look. Su Chen ordered. He came here to kill zombies. It would be a waste of time to continue watching. It was meaningless. Yes. The intelligent chariot started moving and charged forward without hesitation. 10 seconds later, it rushed to the front of the zombies and humans. The appearance of the intelligent chariot immediately attracted the attention of both sides. It had to be said that the entrance of the intelligent chariot was domineering. It completely ignored the zombie army and humans. Seeing this, the charred black zombie and the other two people stopped fighting and looked at the intelligent chariot. Screech! With a sudden breaking sound, the intelligent chariot rushed to the middle of the humans and zombies. The moment the door opened, Su Chen walked out slowly. Suddenly, all eyes were on Su Chen. Who is he? How dare he come here? He's so young and handsome. What's the use of being handsome? We'll teach him a lesson later. When the humans saw a young and handsome man coming out of the car, they started whispering to each other. Human, what's your purpose here? The charred black zombie looked at Su Chen and snorted. In his eyes, Su Chen was very young and didn't look like a powerful person. However, he dared to come in the face of tens of thousands of zombies with a calm expression. He couldn't figure it out. There's only one purpose. Su Chen stared at the charred black zombie, curled his lips and chuckled. Then I'm here to kill all of you. As soon as he said that, the crowd was in an uproar. Damn. Where did this lunatic come from? Isn't he too good at acting cool? He's so handsome, but he's a fool. What a pity. Young people don't know the immensity of heaven and earth if they don't suffer some hardships. How can he boast to such an extent? Almost all of the humans were staring at Su Chen, as if they were looking at an idiot. They all agreed that even if Su Chen was just acting tough, he would definitely die this time. Little brother, you'd better leave quickly. This is not a place where you can participate. The black-clothed woman didn't know why Su Chen was so arrogant, but since they were all humans, she still reminded him. You want to leave? Did this king agree? The scorched black zombie's eyes were cold as he sneered. Su Chen had declared that he would kill them. This was a very impressive act. However, he wanted to leave after acting tough. What did she take him for? At this moment, he'd already decided that no matter what Su Chen's background was, he would kill Su Chen on the spot. Did I say that I'm leaving? Su Chen rubbed his nose and said lightly, It seems that you want to fight with me. Are you in such a hurry to die? As soon as he said that, the humans couldn't stay calm anymore. Damn, isn't this guy too pretentious? Acting tough is also a skill, but you have to be alive to act tough. Chapter 246. How dare a mere human be so arrogant? You must be tired of living. Another charcoal-like zombie walked out of the group of zombies, but it was taller and bigger, and it didn't speak human language. You think you can do that? I can kill you with one hand. Suchin spoke in the zombie's language with a look of contempt. How do you know the language of the undead? The tall zombie was stunned for a moment before he threatened. Tell me the truth, or I'll make you beg for death. Suchin pursed his lips and said mockingly, because I'm your ancestor. Of course I'll tell you. You must be tired of living. The tall zombie was enraged. He grabbed his mace and rushed towards Suchin. We don't know who will die yet. Suchin sneered and shot out an icicle. Psychic. As soon as the tall zombie saw Suchin release a spell, it immediately became a little disdainful and smashed out with its mace. The strength of a psychic was that they could attack from a distance. The tall zombie was only a few meters away from Suchin. At this distance, as long as he could block Suchin's first wave of spells, he would be able to close in and kill Suchin. However, the idea was beautiful, but the reality was cruel. Suchin's icicle was a level 4 spell. Furthermore, it was combined with the mysterious ice of the netherworld. It was even stronger than a level 5 spell. The tall zombie was only a level 3 evolver. There was no way he could block the icicle. In the next moment, the tall zombie's mace hit the icicles that were flying towards him. However, the expected scene of the icicles shattering did not appear. On the contrary, the tall zombie's mace was broken by the icicle. Oh no! Seeing his weapon break, the tall zombie immediately realized that Suchin's spell was definitely not a level 3 spell. Even a level 4 spell would not be able to break his weapon so easily. Could it be a level 5 spell? He was a level 5 mage? With this thought in mind, the tall zombie's expression changed drastically. He grabbed half of the mace and quickly retreated. However, before he could retreat a few steps, he was caught up by the icicle. Afterwards, he felt a bone-piercing coldness assault him. He was unable to move at all, and his consciousness gradually became muddy. Seeing this scene, the human side was in an uproar. F***CK. Why is his icicle technique so powerful? Even a level 3 evolver was frozen into a popsicle. Could it be a level 4 spell? Even a level 4 spell wouldn't be this powerful. Oh my god, we were just mocking him for being pretentious. It turns out that he really has the ability to be pretentious. This guy is too handsome. If I were 10 years younger, I would definitely marry him. Bah. Just based on an old onion like you. Do you think she would take a liking to you? Charred Zombie and the other two were all shocked at this moment. Suchin's strength had completely exceeded their expectations. Who would have thought that a young man who was not even 20 years old would have the ability to casually kill a level 3 evolver? It could be said that none of them were a match for Suchin with his icicle technique. The scorched black zombie was even more worried. Suchin had said that he would kill them all, and he had already proven that he had the ability to do so. What should he do then? Should he just sit there and wait for his death? Or should he put up a desperate struggle? Suchin glanced around, and his eyes finally fell on the charred zombie. He could already tell that charred zombie was the leader of this zombie army. To catch bandits, one had to catch the leader first. To kill a zombie, one had to kill the strongest one first. Therefore, no matter what, charred zombie was his first target. Chapter 247. Being swept by Suchin's gaze, the charred black zombie felt a chill run down his spine. As if sensing danger, he turned and ran towards the zombie horde. In his mind, as long as he escaped into the zombie horde, there would be many zombies to protect him. No matter how strong Suchin was, he wouldn't be able to do anything to him. Do you think you can escape? Suchin sneered disdainfully. Immediately, he released his spiritual power. On the other side, the charred black zombie had already stepped into the zombie horde with one foot. He originally thought that he was going to be safe, but in the next moment he was shocked to find that his whole body was bound by a powerful invisible force. No matter how he struggled, he couldn't move at all. Moreover, under the guidance of this invisible force, he was flying uncontrollably towards Suchin. In the face of this strange scene, everyone was stunned. In an instant, discussions broke out everywhere. What's going on? Why is the zombie leader flying over by himself? I know. He must be controlled by spiritual power. What? Spiritual power? Could it be that the young powerhouse is also a spiritual reader? He must be a spiritual reader, and a spiritual reader above level 4. Otherwise, how could he control a level 3 evolver? Oh my god! Isn't he a level 4 spiritual reader? How could he be a level 4 spiritual reader? This world is too crazy. After the woman in black and the male zombie looked at each other, they swallowed their saliva at the same time. Su Chen was a level 4 spiritual reader, there was no doubt about this. Then they thought of Su Chen's identity as a level 4 spiritual reader. They only felt a buzzing sound in their heads, as if they couldn't accept the reality in front of them. They knew better than anyone how difficult the path of cultivation was. Originally, they thought that with their status as level 3 evolvers, they were enough to be proud and worthy of being called geniuses. But the appearance of Su Chen was a huge blow to them. At the same time, they also knew what it meant to say that there was always someone better than you. Su Chen was not even 20 years old, but he was both a spellcaster and a telekinesis master, both of which had reached level 4. Just this point alone was enough to make people look up to him for a lifetime. When did such a monstrous figure appear in our human race? The black-clothed woman looked at Su Chen from afar and sighed deeply. Don't kill me. I'm from the undead race. If you kill me, you won't have a good ending. Seeing that Su Chen was about to bring him in front of him, the charred black zombie was scared out of his wits. He screamed loudly. As one of the 5 super races, the undead race was indeed worthy of Su Chen's attention. However, the charred black zombie was only a level 3 evolver. He was just a small fry in the undead clan. This kind of trash actually dared to speak such arrogant words and threaten him? You think too highly of yourself. Su Chen's face was full of disdain as he mocked. Not to mention a piece of trash like you. Even if you were a powerhouse from the undead clan, I would still kill you if I wanted to. Friend, let's talk nicely. It might be a misunderstanding between us. The corner of the scorched black zombie's mouth trembled. At this moment, he clearly felt the murderous intent in Su Chen's eyes. Even if he was from the undead race, he didn't dare to use this to threaten Su Chen. He was afraid that if he said something wrong, he would anger Su Chen and bring about a fatal disaster. Those who aren't of my race are bound to have different intentions. We're not friends. Su Chen curled his lips, stared at the eyes of the charred black zombie, and said in a deep voice, How did you get in here? Don't hide anything, or I'll make you beg for death. Chapter 248. I'll talk. I'll tell you everything. Don't kill me. The charred zombie's face turned green as he begged for mercy. He did not care about Su Chen's words at all. A person who could easily kill a level 3 evolver could kill him with a flick of his finger. At least you know what's good for you. Su Chen snorted and said lightly, Tell me, where is the boundary passage that connects here? The only way to get from the undead continent to the mysterious heavenly continent was through the boundary passage. His goal was to find this realm passage and destroy it. The boundary passage is, as the charred zombie said this, a vicious look flashed across his eyes. When Su Chen was not paying attention, he opened his mouth and spat out a black mist. Soon he rushed in front of Su Chen. Without knowing what it was, Su Chen waved his hand and dispersed it. Haha. But at this moment, the charred zombie suddenly laughed wildly. You've been poisoned by the undead clan's natal corpse poison. No matter how powerful you are, you'll become a zombie and become a dog under my feet. Let me go now. The undead clan's natal corpse poison was hundreds and thousands of times more powerful than the zombie's corpse poison. Even the slightest bit of it would quickly turn one into a zombie. This was also the biggest reason why the undead clan could always be at the top of the myriad clans. Hearing this, the black-clothed woman and the male zombie's expressions changed. Although they were not familiar with Su Chen, they knew that Su Chen was here to kill the zombies, which was equivalent to helping them in disguise. Now that he had been poisoned by the undead clan's natal corpse poison, he would soon turn into a zombie. Without the help of a powerhouse like Su Chen, their situation could be imagined. Wu Yang and the others on the intelligent war chariot were also a little worried. If it was a head-on confrontation, Su Chen was an invincible existence. No one would be his opponent. But if it was poison, it was hard to say. After all, the corpse poison was too vicious. In their knowledge, anyone who was poisoned would turn into a zombie. Yang Lingtian knew that Su Chen had the antidote. When he was bitten by a level 2 zombie, he relied on Su Chen's medicine to neutralize the poison. However, could the undead's corpse poison be the same as the zombie's corpse poison? Would Su Chen's potion still work? He wasn't sure about this, so he was quite worried. A mere corpse poison wants to deal with me? Su Chen sneered. With the ancient godfiend body, not only was he invincible among his peers, he was also immune to all poisons and evil. No matter how powerful the undead race's corpse poison was, it could not cause him the slightest bit of harm at all. Why didn't you become a zombie? The scorched zombie widened his eyes, and a deep doubt arose in his heart. Although his innate corpse poison was not as fierce as the clan's powerhouses, it still had some degree of maturity. In the past, when he fought against enemies, he relied on this innate corpse poison to turn many powerhouses into zombies. However, Su Chen was clearly poisoned as well. Why didn't he think about the process of turning into a zombie? I was born with a domineering body. I'm immune to all poisons in the world. Of course, an ant like you is ignorant. Su Chen sneered and immediately controlled his mental strength to tear off the scorched zombie's 2 arms. It was impolite not to reciprocate. Since the other party dared to play tricks on him, he naturally had to let the other party have a taste of his own means. Ah! The scorched zombie could not bear the pain, and let out a heart-wrenching scream. Witnessing this scene, all the humans shuddered. Previously, Su Chen gave off an invincible aura of a powerhouse. But now his brutal side was vividly displayed. It made everyone feel a chill in their hearts. Chapter 249. Now you should tell me the location of the interworld passage, right? Su Chen stared at the charred zombie and said sternly, "There is no interworld passage." When we entered, the interworld passage collapsed. Seeing Su Chen's eyes full of hostility, the charred zombie was so scared that the corners of his mouth trembled. He had just seen Su Chen's methods. It was too cruel, and he did not want to experience it again. Looks like you won't talk unless you suffer a little. Su Chen's face darkened. After he finished speaking, he manipulated his mind power again, and let the charred zombie feel what it meant to be in heart-wrenching pain. He did not know if the other party was telling the truth, so he might as well use torture to force a confession. I'm telling the truth. Ah. With a series of crackling sounds of bones breaking, the charred zombie's body began to twist and deform, followed by a painful roar. Seeing this, everyone felt their scalps tingle. Especially those who had mocked Su Chen before. They were so scared that they almost peed their pants. We, the undead clan, will not let you go. In the end, the charred zombie could not bear the pain and bit his tongue to commit suicide. F***ck. Su Chen was so angry that he spat at the charred zombie's body. Because he did not kill it himself, he lost a chance to get a fragment, which made him very angry. Throwing the charred zombie aside, Su Chen turned his eyes and glanced at a certain spot in the zombie crowd. Before he came, he saw from the central control screen that there were a total of 3 foreign race creatures here. Now 2 of them were dead, and the other one was still hiding in the zombie crowd. That undead clan member realized that Su Chen was looking for him, and a strong sense of fear grew in his heart. He knew that if he fell into Su Chen's hands, his end would be extremely miserable. So he went all out and ordered all the zombies to attack Su Chen. Roar! For a moment, the roars of the zombies shook the sky and the earth. Tens of thousands of zombies locked their eyes on Su Chen, and their scarlet eyes revealed a bloodthirsty look. Kill him! The undead race member pointed at Su Chen and shouted. All the zombies went crazy, baring their fangs and brandishing their claws at Su Chen. Should we help? The woman in black asked the male zombie. The male zombie hesitated for a moment, then nodded slightly. Although the zombie army's target wasn't them, Su Chen had helped them. Logically and emotionally, they couldn't just sit by and watch. However, before they could make a move, they were stunned by the scene before them. Su Chen punched out, and a sky full of fist shadows inexplicably appeared in midair, pressing down on the incoming zombies with an earth-shattering force. Immediately after, A bone-chilling sound of bones cracking resounded throughout the world. Before the woman and the male zombie could react, they saw over 1,000 zombies fall in front of Su Chen. 400 to 500 zombies were smashed into pieces and died on the spot. The rest of the zombies were also injured. Although they didn't die, they had lost their ability to fight. As for that undead clan member, he was directly smashed into pieces, leaving no trace of his body. Witnessing this shocking scene, everyone fell into a deep stupor. One punch, just one punch, could kill and injure over 1,000 zombies. It was too violent. It was a little too inconceivable. Chapter 250. Wu Yang and the others had seen Su Chen's Pegasus meteor punch before, but they were too far away at that time, so they did not have the chance to experience it. At this moment, they clearly saw how terrifying this punch was. One punch turned into 100 punches. Every punch contained the full strength of a level 4 evolutionary. When they were combined, the power was multiplied. They even thought that a level 5 evolutionary would be defeated by such a punch. As for a level 6 evolutionary, even if they could withstand it, they would not have an easy time. He is also a powerful evolver. The woman in black regained her senses and murmured. The expression of the male zombie next to her changed. He opened his mouth wide, and his jaw almost fell to the ground. Su Chen had indeed used the strength of an evolutionary in that punch. Then he remembered that Su Chen was also a powerful magician and a telekinesis master. The male zombie seemed to realize something and shouted, "He's a full-time cultivator. All of them have reached level 4. Oh my god! How could there be such a monster in this world?" On the other side, after the undead was killed, the zombies returned to their original nature and attacked Su Chen and the humans in Heaven Temple City. "Let's attack together and kill the zombies," the woman in black roared. Originally, she wanted to help Su Chen, but now, she did not hesitate. The humans in Heaven Temple City received the order and took out their weapons, charging towards the zombies. At this moment, a war was about to break out. Su Chen knew that the humans in Heaven Temple City had good intentions, but he did not want to see that happen. After all, if the zombies were killed by them, they would not drop any fragments. To him, it would be a huge loss. Get the F***CK into the city. Whoever dares to kill a zombie, I will kill his or her entire family. In a moment of desperation, Su Chen shouted at the humans in Heaven Temple City. Hearing that, the humans were dumbfounded. What was going on? "We are here to help you, okay? Why do you want to kill our entire family?" Although they could not understand, they did not dare to disobey Su Chen's order. "Retreat to the city, don't kill the zombies." The black-clothed woman called out, and led the humans into the city. She knew that if she didn't do as Su Chen said and angered him, the consequences would be unimaginable. Su Chen's strength was enough to intimidate them. She even believed that even if all the people in Heaven Temple City were to join forces, they wouldn't be enough to kill Su Chen alone. Facing such a powerhouse, the best thing to do was to follow his advice. When all the humans retreated into the city, Wu Yang and the others quickly rushed down from the intelligent chariot and began to slaughter the zombies mercilessly. The intelligent war chariot went all out at this time. Every time the magnetic storm net was released, it would kill hundreds of zombies. The ungraded Gatling gun fired wildly, and a large number of zombies were turned into sieves, reaping the lives of the zombies nonstop. The humans of Heaven Temple City had just retreated into the city. When they saw the scene outside the city, they were all petrified. Strong. Too strong. His strength was boundless. That was their evaluation of Su Chen and the others. With the help of Wu Yang and the others and the intelligent war chariot, killing zombies became easier and faster. In just half an hour, more than 10,000 zombies were killed on the spot. Looking at the dazzling fragments on the ground, the corners of Su Chen's mouth slowly curled up. Then he began to pick up the fragments. Wu Yang and the others began to dig for energy stones. Chapter 251. Su Chen first picked up a green fragment. Picked up Blade of Divine Sense Fragment X1, 250. The The fragments are not full, so it can't be used. It can be exchanged for energy points. The Blade of Divine Sense had been dropped when he was in the Huangzi mountain range, but it had never appeared again. After a little hesitation, Su Chen exchanged it for energy points. The Blade of Divine Sense should be a secret spiritual power technique, and the energy points required to exchange for it reached 5,000 points. Although it was not as good as the Ancient Godfiend Body and the Heavenly Hundredfold Strength technique. But it was obviously a very good thing. Considering that it would take a long time to collect all the fragments, he didn't know how long it would take. He decided to spend some energy points to exchange for it. Therefore, he only needed to keep one. Then he continued to pick up fragments. The second was a purple fragment. Picked up, Northern Ice Fragment X1, 310. The fragments are not full, so it can't be used. It can be exchanged for energy points. No. The Northern Ice should be the same as the mysterious ice of Ninth Serenity, which was an ice element manifestation. It appeared much earlier than the mysterious ice of Ninth Serenity. But so far only 3 fragments had been collected. On the contrary, the mysterious ice of Ninth Serenity that appeared later had been collected and integrated into ice element magic. Then he continued to pick up fragments. After picking up more than a dozen fragments in a row, the woman in black and the male zombie came over together. However, before they could get close, they were stopped by the mechanical soldiers. Su Chen also had something to ask them, so he let the mechanical soldiers let them go. "Senior, I'm Su Wuhua. Thank you for saving me," the woman in black said respectfully when she came to Su Chen's side. Su Wuhua looked to be in her 30s and had an ordinary appearance. Su Chen glanced at her, then shifted his gaze to the male zombie and muttered, "Can zombies coexist peacefully with humans?" The male zombie in front of him was inseparable from Su Wuhua, and they seemed to have a close relationship. This made him feel very strange. "Senior, his name is Wei Kanggang, and he is my husband. He is also an intelligent zombie," Su Wuhua explained. "Senior, thank you for saving my life." At this moment, Wei Kanggang also cupped his hands towards Su Chen to express his gratitude. Su Chen nodded and asked, "Why are there so many intelligent zombies in Heaven Altar City? And they can even live together in harmony?" Once a human becomes a zombie, even if they have intelligence, their temperament will change greatly. Logically speaking, it was absolutely impossible for them to continue coexisting with humans. Such a situation in the Temple of Heaven City was truly rare. Chapter 252. After figuring out what was going on, Su Chen asked, "Can I ask you something? Are there any zombies or mutant beasts nearby?" His purpose of coming here was to hunt zombies. After killing all the zombies here, he naturally needed to find the next batch. If they knew, it would save him a lot of time. "Senior, are you referring to a large number of zombies and mutant beasts?" Su Wuhua asked tentatively. "Yes." Su Chen nodded. After getting a positive answer from Su Chen, Su Wuhua said, "Blackstone City used to be a big city with a population of more than 100,000 people. But later, I heard that it fell. There should be a lot of zombies there." Blackstone City. Su Chen pondered and quickly recalled. Soon he remembered that there was indeed a Blackstone City in the west of Qianyu Island. However, Blackstone City was almost at the edge of Qianyu Island, and was only a few dozen miles away from the Forget Worries Sea outside Qianyu Island. "Well, I have nothing else. You can leave." Su Chen ordered them to leave. After learning that there were zombies in Blackstone City, he didn't want to continue chatting. After all, there were still a lot of fragments waiting to be picked up. "Senior, we'll take our leave." Su Wuhua and Wei Kanggang replied respectfully, and then turned to walk into the city. Originally, they came here to express their gratitude to Su Chen, and also to get closer to Su Chen. But seeing Su Chen's indifferent attitude, they dispelled the idea and left. After the two left, Su Chen continued to pick up fragments. Picked up Upgrade Gem Fragment *111. Fragments are full. Can be used or exchanged for energy points. Use. Picked up sunflower seed fragment *111. Fragments are full. Can be used or exchanged for energy points. Use. Picked up pet raising space fragment *1010. Fragments are full. Can be used or exchanged for energy points. Use. Pet raising space was a golden bracelet. When worn on the wrist, it would automatically integrate into the flesh and blood, which was the same as planting space. Its initial space was also 10 cubic meters, and its main function was to provide shelter for mutated beasts. Wearing the pet feeding space on his wrist, Suchin continued to pick up fragments. More than an hour later, all the fragments had been collected. Suchin returned to the intelligent war chariot and started counting his gains. This time, more than 1,000 fragments were dropped, and most of them were exchanged for energy points. The total amount of energy points reached 1,400 points. Other than that, there weren't many other rewards. Only a few level-up gems dropped. Suchin used 2 upgrade gems to expand the planting space to 50 cubic meters. Then he planted all the newly obtained seeds. He also checked on the longevity fruit tree. Seeing that there was nothing wrong, he closed the planting dimension. Since Wu Yang and the others were still digging for energy stones, Suchin took advantage of this time to look at the topographic map of Thousand Feather Island. After another 2 hours, all the energy stones were dug out. Wu Yang and the others got on the chariot one after another. Suchin let the intelligent war chariot lock on the location of Black Rock City and went straight to Black Rock City. When the intelligent war chariot disappeared from sight, Wei Qinggang sighed with emotion. Who are they? Why are they so powerful? Su Wuhuan narrowed her eyes and thought about it. Suchin's appearance made her see what a real genius was. At the same time, she also realized that the human clan was not as weak as she thought. They could also produce super masters. Chapter 253. After leaving the Temple of Heaven City, the intelligent war chariot drove for more than an hour, and the sky gradually darkened. Suchin stopped the intelligent war chariot and began to prepare dinner. After dinner, everyone gathered together and chatted for a while before going to rest. The next day, the intelligent war chariot continued its journey. When it entered an abandoned town, it discovered something very strange. Piles of white bones were scattered all over the town. There were at least 1,000 of them. Moreover, there were not only human skeletons, but also many mutated beasts and zombies. Suchin observed through the control screen for a while, and did not find anything strange, so he did not pay too much attention to it. After that, the intelligent war chariot continued to move forward. After driving for more than 2 hours, Suchin felt that something was wrong. During this period, many skeletons were found along the way, but there were no traces of humans or zombies. It was as if all the humans and zombies in the vicinity had been killed. Suchin frowned and stared at the control screen, but he did not see any blue or red dots. The intelligent war chariot's detection range was up to 200 kilometers, which meant that there were no humans or zombies within 200 kilometers. This kind of situation had never happened before. Moreover, along the way, the detection range was more than 200 kilometers, but there were still no signs of humans or zombies. This was too strange. What happened? Suchin narrowed his eyes and pondered. At this moment, the intelligent war chariot suddenly reminded him. Master, there are mutated creatures appearing 180 kilometers ahead. Hearing this, Suchin raised his eyebrows and hurriedly looked at the control screen. Soon, he found that there were indeed more than 10 black dots on the control screen. In front of the black dots, there was a large red dot. Both sides were in a chase, and their speed was very fast, almost reaching the speed of a level 4 evolver. It seems that the mutated creatures are chasing after a mutated beast, Suchin muttered. The red dot on the control screen was very large, and it was definitely not a zombie. It was most likely a mutated beast with a large body. Moreover, judging from the way both sides were running, the mutated beast was being chased. Satoshi, lock onto them, let's go and take a look. Killing mutated beasts and mutated creatures would drop fragments, and it happened to be on the way to Black Rock City, so there was no need to change direction. Suchin also wanted to catch them all in one fell swoop. Roger that. After receiving the order, the intelligent war chariot accelerated. Half an hour later, when the distance between the two sides was less than 10 kilometers, Suchin noticed that the red dot on the control screen had stopped and was surrounded by a circle of black dots. Then both sides were entangled with each other. After a while, the red dot disappeared from the central control screen. This meant that the mutant beast had been killed. The war chariot, when the mutated beasts. How strong was the mutated creatures? How strong was the mutated creature that mutated creatures? Suchin guessed that either the creatures were all level 3 or above, or one of them was abnormally strong. Otherwise, it was impossible to kill a level 3 mutated beast in such a short time. But no matter what the situation was, he was not afraid. With his current strength, even if he met a level 5 evolver, he could easily kill them. Just a dozen mutated creatures were nothing in his eyes. Chapter 254. Satoshi, speed up. Suchin ordered. Yes. The intelligent war chariot locked onto the target and sped forward. Chungu, have you found any mutated creatures? Yang Hao and the other two gathered in front of Suchin. They were all eager to try. Wu Yang and Yang Lingtian were also rubbing their hands together. After leveling up, they were full of confidence. They felt that killing ordinary zombies was not satisfying enough. They all wanted to fight against powerful mutated creatures. Yes, we found a dozen mutated creatures. Suchin nodded and said in a deep voice, "We will meet them later. Don't get out of the car yet. Let me assess them first." Those mutated creatures could kill mutated beasts above level 3. They were too strong. He did not dare to let Yang Hao and the others take the risk. Oh. Yang Hao nodded and was slightly disappointed. Master, we are about to reach the target location. 10 minutes later, the intelligent war chariot reminded him. Hearing this, Suchin focused his eyes and looked forward. He saw a mutated beast lying on the ground like a small mountain about 100 meters away. Moreover, there were more than a dozen black shadows lying on the mutated beast. As he got closer, he could clearly see that the dozen or so shadows all had human faces. However, their faces were abnormally pale. Their bodies were abnormally tall. Each of them was more than 2 meters tall. The biggest one was almost 3 meters tall. The strangest thing was that they all had a pair of black wings on their backs. They were very similar to the wings of bats. Chungu, what kind of monsters are they? Why are they eating the mutated beast raw? Seeing those mutated creatures eating the mutated beast nonstop, and in the blink of an eye, half of the mutated beast was devoured. Yang Hao's face changed. Suchin also saw it. His heart was moved. He was now suspicious. Could the bones he saw along the way be the work of these mutated creatures? If so, these mutated creatures' tastes were too strong. Eating humans and mutated beasts was understandable, but not zombies. Had they gone crazy from hunger? Suchin, that mutant beast seems to be a level 4 iron tower with divine bull. Wu Yang reminded with a serious expression. Level 4 mutated beast. Yang Hao and the others were a little nervous. Just how strong were these foreign creatures if they could even kill a level 4 mutated beast? Could it be level 5? Previously, they were eager to give it a try, but now they were afraid. Looks like I'm right. Suchin muttered. Previously, he had suspected that there were level 5 creatures among the foreign races. Now it seemed that he was most likely right. They are flying over. The corner of Yang Hao's mouth twitched. The appearance of the intelligent war chariot naturally attracted the attention of the foreign races. They spread their wings and flew above the intelligent war chariot, forming an encirclement. Little Tai, follow me down and take a look. Suchin rubbed his nose and got down from the chariot with the mechanical soldier. The mechanical soldier had already been upgraded to level 4. Plus, it was made of metal. It could even fight against a level 5 evolved being. Haha. There's actually fresh meat being sent to us. Today's luck is not bad. In midair, the 3-meter-tall mutated creature sized up Suchin and laughed. The language it used was not human language, but Su-chin could understand it. Huh. Su-chin laughed contemptuously and said in the creature's language, "You bunch of trash want to treat me as food? Do you have the ability?" Chapter 255. How arrogant. The creature that spoke first snorted coldly before its expression froze. "Human, why do you know the language of the blood tribe?" Yang Hao and the others in the car were also stunned. This was the first time they had seen Su-chin talk to a mutated creature. "Chen-gu can speak our language?" Yang Hao's eyes widened. Sherdaniu beside him said seriously, "Chen-ji's awesomeness isn't something ordinary people like us can understand. I think there's nothing in this world that Chen-gu doesn't understand." Chao Ran and Yang Hao looked at each other, their mouths slightly agape. Sherdaniu in the past wouldn't have said something like this. Could it be that he was influenced by us? Outside the car, Su-chin glanced at the vampire and snorted, "I know a lot of things. Do I have to tell you everything? You're just a vampire. Do you think you're worthy? You're courting death." The tall vampire was instantly enraged. He gritted his teeth so hard that they creaked. Vampires weren't the most powerful race among the 10,000 races, but they were still one of the best. Humans were recognized as the weakest race among the 10,000 races. In his eyes, humans were like ants, or rather food. How dare an ant like him mock vampires? He was simply courting death. "Take him down." The tall vampire licked his lips and gave a signal to the vampire beside him. Immediately, 4 vampires flew toward Su-chin. From the aura they emitted, Su-chin judged that they were all level 3 evolvers. Facing the siege of 4 level 3 evolvers, anyone else would have panicked. However, Su-chin was calm, and there was even a hint of disdain on his face. As he released his spiritual energy, he held the enchanted sword and swung it horizontally. The 4 members of the Blood Clan flew in front of Su-chin. Just as they were about to attack, it was as if they had fallen into a swamp. Even moving their fingers was abnormally difficult. Level 4 Spirit Reader. When they realized this, their eyes were filled with fear. The strength of a level 4 Spirit Reader is not something they can contend with. And once they were restricted, it was easy to imagine what they would face in the future. The 4 members of the Blood Clan didn't want to wait for death, so they struggled with all their might. However, Su-chin did not give them a chance at all. With a slash of the enchanted magic saber, he cut off their heads cleanly. Just as their corpses fell to the ground, 4 beams of light flashed. Seeing this, Su-chin's lips curled up. Then he looked at the tall Blood Clan member and sneered. "The Blood Clan is just as so." The tall Blood Clan member gritted his teeth with a ferocious expression. The death of his clansman made him abnormally angry, but the strength that Su-chin displayed made him even more surprised. A level 4 Spirit Reader and a level 4 Evolver, with 2 major professions. Such a genius had never appeared even in the Blood Clan. "No wonder you dare to be so arrogant. It turns out that you have some ability." The tall Blood Clan member's eyes were cold as he whispered. Then he sneered and said, "However, I don't care about this little bit of strength. Today, I'll let you see what true strength is." As soon as he finished speaking, a terrifying aura was emitted from his body. The strength of a level 5 evolver was undeniable. What a powerful aura. Wu Yang and the others in the intelligent war chariot were shocked. They couldn't help but sweat for Su-chin. "Haha, human, feel what despair is." The tall Blood Clan member laughed wildly and pounced toward Su-chin. Chapter 256. This guy sure knows how to show off. Su-chin pursed his lips. After infusing the lightning element spell into the enchanted sword, he slashed at the vampire. The tall vampire had just reached Su-chin when he suddenly saw a flash of lightning appear in front of him. Then, this flash of lightning became brighter and brighter, and thicker. Finally, it turned into a blue torrent that was as thick as a bowl and flew towards him. Feeling the terrifying waves of lightning within the blue torrent, the tall vampire was stunned for a moment. Then he shouted with a face full of fear, "Lightning element spell. You're also a spiritual psychic." He never would have thought that Su-chin was not only a telekinesis master and an evolver, but also a spiritual psychic. Moreover, the lightning element spell that he released had completely surpassed level 4 and was even slightly stronger than a level 5 spell. It was terrifying to think about. This young human in front of him had 3 major professions, and his cultivation as a spiritual psychic might even be at level 5. Facing a demon-like existence like Su Chen, even the tall vampire, who thought highly of himself, felt a deep sense of fear. In fact, Su Chen's spiritual psychic was only at level 4, and the spell that he released was comparable to a level 5 spell. This was because the lightning element spell was infused with the barren thunder. Lightning element spell was the nemesis of vampires. A level 5 lightning element spell was enough to cause fatal damage to a vampire. That was why the tall blood race member was so fearful, and even had the thought of immediately escaping from this place. However, the distance between the two parties was too close. It was obviously too late for him to escape or hide. Left with no choice, the tall vampire could only grit his teeth and block with his arms in front of his body to block the blue torrent formed by the lightning element spell. The next moment, the blue torrent slammed into the Gundam vampires, instantly drowning them in a sea of lightning. Then there was the sound of thunder. The tall vampire was directly sent flying. After landing on the ground, both of his arms were a mess of flesh and blood. His body was also charred. The vampire's physique originally had very strong self-healing abilities. However, under the ravaging of the lightning element spell, there were no signs of recovery. Pooh! The tall blood race member fell to the ground and spat out a mouthful of blood. His aura was extremely weak, and it seemed that he wouldn't be able to survive. The remaining 8 members of the Blood Clan who were flying in the air witnessed this scene. Their eyes were filled with a deep layer of fear, and they all began to tremble. Su Chen's strength was something they had never seen before. Killing a level 5 evolver with just a wave of his hand. This kind of terrifying strength was not something they could fight against. When they realized this, they all flew backwards at the same time. You want to run? Can you run away? Su Chen smiled contemptuously and punched out from afar. In the blink of an eye, hundreds of fist shadows appeared in the air and whizzed toward the 8 Blood Clan members. Bang bang bang. Amidst a series of explosions, the 8 Blood Clan members were smashed to smithereens, leaving behind only 8 beams of light that slowly drifted down from the sky. 8 fragments. Su Chen's mouth revealed a hint of joy. When the tall vampire lying on the ground saw this scene, he couldn't take it anymore. His head tilted to the side and he died. Wu Yang, who was in the car, saw Su Chen kill all the Blood Clan members in an instant, and took a deep breath. He couldn't help but recall the evaluation of Su Chen from before. Invincible among those of the same level, killing enemies of a higher level is as easy as pie. Su Chen's strength is not something we can reach. Chapter 257. Su Chen heaved a sigh of relief, squinted his eyes, and glanced around. A smile immediately appeared at the corners of his mouth. He had killed a total of 12 vampires, but 12 fragments had dropped. The probability of fragments dropping was as high as 100%, which had never happened before. Moreover, among these 12 fragments, there were 10 colorful fragments. The colorful fragments could currently drop 3 things, namely Upgrade Gem, Fusion Gem, and Magic Fusion Gem. Every single one of them was extremely valuable. Then, Su Chen retracted his gaze and began to pick up the fragments happily. The first was a black fragment. Picked up Time Accelerator Fragment *1. 100. Fragments are not full, cannot be used, can be exchanged for energy points. No exchange. Time Accelerator was something that appeared for the first time. Although he did not know what it was used for, Su Chen was shocked by the terrifying number. Time Accelerator required 100 fragments to be used, and the number was already comparable to Ancient Godfiend Body. Su Chen hurriedly opened Doomsday Mall to check. When he saw that Time Accelerator's exchange points were 10,000 energy points, he was shocked. Ancient Godfiend Body's exchange points were also 10,000 energy points. Since the number of exchange points and fragments were the same, didn't it mean that Time Accelerator was also an extremely powerful item? Thinking of this, Su Chen was a little expectant. However, 10,000 energy points was not a small number after all, and it was impossible to obtain so many energy points in a short period of time. In addition, even if he wanted to exchange, he had to wait a little. There were still Heavenly Hundredfold Strength Technique and Blade of Divine Sense waiting to be exchanged. After calming down, he continued to pick up fragments. The second fragment was also a black fragment. Picked up Sora Aoi Blow-Up Doll, *1. 1-1. Fragments are full, can be used or exchanged for energy points. Su Chen's expression became a lot more strange, and after a little hesitation, he exchanged it for energy points. He did not expect that the fragments could drop a blow-up doll. And it was the old teacher's. If he had to live alone in the apocalypse, he might have considered staying. But it was different now. He had two beauties, Tan Lin and Yang Qian, by his side. There was no need for an inflatable doll. *CK. The items dropped by the fragments are getting more and more evil. Luckily, I have enough willpower. Otherwise, I would have fallen for it. The appearance of the Sora Aoi blow-up doll made Su Chen's heart itch, and he couldn't help but grumble. After a while, he cast aside all distracting thoughts and continued to pick up the fragments. Picked up Upgrade Gem Fragment *1. 1-1. The fragments are full, can be used or exchanged for energy points. Use. The remaining 10 colored shards were all upgrade gems, which made Su Chen a little excited. After putting all the upgrade gems into his storage bag, he returned to the intelligent war chariot. As for the corpse of the Iron Tower Wood Divine Bull, he couldn't be bothered to take it since it had already been eaten by the Blood Tribe. Chengge, you are becoming more and more awesome. Killing a level 5 evolved being is like playing around. As soon as Su Chen boarded the car, Yang Hao and the other two came up to greet him. Their admiration for him was beyond words. Work hard, you guys can do it too. Su Chen smiled, turned around and walked to the central control screen. After glancing at it, he ordered the intelligent war chariot, Satoshi, target Blackrock City, continue on your way. Yes. The intelligent war chariot started moving and headed towards Blackrock City. As it was quite far from Blackrock City, it would take at least 4 to 5 days to arrive. During this time, Su Chen didn't want to be idle, so he once again searched for the whereabouts of the zombies. Chapter 258. However, everything was calm on the screen. There was not even a shadow of a zombie. Su Chen immediately thought that the vampires must have killed them all. There were no more zombies to kill, so he closed his eyes and rested. The next day, there were still no signs of zombies. Su Chen felt bored, so he took out a deck of poker cards and taught Yang Hao and the others how to play Dodiju. This deck of poker cards was also dropped by the shards. In his previous life, Su Chen liked to play poker, so he kept it. He did not expect that it would come in handy today. Dodiju was a simple game, and easy to learn. Yang Hao and the others learned it quickly, and they were deeply immersed in it, unable to pull themselves out. Tenjqk. There's only one left. Chengge, do you want it? If not, I'm leaving. Yang Hao said proudly. In this round, he and Chao Ran were farmers, and he was Chao Ran's subordinate. Even if Su Chen blew him up, he was not afraid, because Chao Ran would let him go. Moreover, he believed that Su Chen would not dare to blow him up. Su Chen looked at the cards in his hand. He only had 2 kings left, an A and a 3. If he blew them up, he would most likely lose. Because there were still 4 2s outside, and they might be in Chao Ran's hands. Su Chen, let's not play. Tan Lin whispered into Su Chen's ear. After watching for a while, she also knew how to play. She also knew that the current situation was very unfavorable for Su Chen. If Su Chen did not blow him up, he would lose 3 points at most, but if he blew him up, he might lose double. Su Chen also knew this, so he said, "No, you can go." After saying that, he was ready to admit defeat. Haha. Unexpectedly, Chao Ran suddenly laughed and winked at Su Chen. Chengge, although you're good at fighting, Fight the Landlord is a game of brains. Accept the punishment from me, Chao Ran. As soon as he finished speaking, he threw out 4 2s. I'll bomb. No one noticed that when Chao Ran threw out the bomb, Yang Hao's face became extremely ugly. Su Chen rubbed his nose and inwardly said, Not only does this guy know how to gouge people's eyeballs, he's also quite ruthless in playing landlord. A 3 game over. Chow ran throughout a 3, his face brimming with a bright smile. No. Suddenly, a voice as soft as a mosquito entered everyone's ears. Chow Ran was stunned for a moment. He looked at Yang Hao in a daze and whispered, "I'll throw out a 3, you don't want it?" Yang Hao glared at Chow Ran and said snappily, "I'm not deaf, I don't want it." Haha. This time, it was Su Chen's turn to laugh. He already knew that Chow Ran only had a 3 left in his hand, and it would definitely not run away. That's great. Yang Qian cried out happily. This situation was undoubtedly the most advantageous for Su Chen. As long as Su Chen could win, she would be happier than anyone else. She even ignored that the person who was going to lose was her own brother. When Chow Ran heard that Yang Hao really didn't want it, he was dumbfounded on the spot. Because after throwing out this 3, he only had a small 4 left in his hand. Did he expect Su Chen to let him go? Obviously, it was impossible. He was now full of regret. He felt like he had lifted a rock and smashed it on his own foot. If he knew that Yang Hao only had a 3 left, he wouldn't have thrown out the bomb. Su Chen cleared his throat and began to speak with assurance. You have to remember the cards when playing landlord. I've already calculated that you still have a bomb in your hand, and I've been waiting for this moment. Accept the punishment of fate. Then, under the watchful eyes of everyone, Su Chen threw out his trump card. Ah! Yang Hao screamed and then sighed with emotion. I'm not afraid of a godlike opponent, but I'm afraid of a pig-like teammate. Chow Ran next to him was silent, and his face turned green. Chapter 259. Ever since he learned how to play Do Diju, the car was filled with laughter. Moreover, he had to admit that Do Diju was very charming. Wu Yang and Yang Lingtian, the 2 older people, would sometimes play a few rounds. Su Chen played a few rounds, then gave the chance to the others. He would chat with Yang Qian and Tan Lin, or look at the central control screen to find the zombies. Behind, the intelligent war vehicle followed the original route, while the others played Do Diju to pass the time. On the 3rd day, there were finally traces of zombies on the central control screen. There were not many of them, only about 100 or so. Moreover, Su Chen also found that there were hundreds of humans in the same place as the zombies. The 2 sides did not seem to be in a state of killing each other, and they seemed to be in harmony. This situation made Su Chen a little confused. He suspected that these humans were the same as those in Heaven Altar City. After being infected, they could also live together peacefully. If that was the case, he would not kill these zombies. Because other than their different identities, they also had human emotions. Killing them was the same as killing humans. But whether this was the case or not, he still needed to take a look to know. Anyway, they were just on the route, so Su Chen decided to take a look. Satoshi, lock on the position of these zombies and go immediately. Yes. The intelligent war vehicle sped up and overtook the zombies. Half an hour later, the intelligent war vehicle came to a stop in front of a small village. Su Chen glanced at the small village and saw several zombies standing at the intersection, like guards. When they saw the intelligent war vehicle, they roared together. One of the zombies roared, turned around and ran into the village. They are all ordinary zombies. Su Chen muttered, opened the door, got out of the car, and walked towards the zombies at the intersection. Based on the reactions of these zombies, he judged that none of them had intelligence. In this way, his previous guess was not valid. Of course, he would not let the zombies here go. When the zombies saw a human walking towards them, they roared even more fiercely. But surprisingly, none of the zombies rushed towards Su Chen, as if they were restrained by something. Su Chen had experienced this situation once in Full Moon City. At that time, the zombies there were restrained by Jiang Chengfeng, just like now. It seems that there is still an intelligent zombie in the village. Su Chen narrowed his eyes and muttered. At this moment, more than 20 zombies walked out of the village. The leader of the group was a zombie wearing a green lab coat. Its face was dark, but its eyes were bright and full of vigor. After coming to the intersection, the green-clothed zombie looked at Su Chen. His face suddenly changed and then he said respectfully, "Senior, What brings you to our Yangjiapu? And Suchin raised an eyebrow and asked, You can see my cultivation base. Generally speaking, it's to see a person to be, to see to. But the green-clothed zombie could see it at a glance, which made him feel very strange. The green-clothed zombie explained in fear and trepidation. Senior, I have a special ability. As long as we are within a certain distance, I can feel the other person's cultivation. Then can you feel what my cultivation level is? Suchin suddenly became interested. Yes. The green-clothed zombie narrowed his eyes, and soon a strange light flashed in his eyes. Then he said, Level 4 Evolver, Level 4 Magician, Level 4? At this point, the green-clothed zombie opened his mouth wide, and his face was full of shock and disbelief. After looking at Suchin in a daze, he said involuntarily, Senior, you are a full-time cultivator? And you have reached Level 4? Chapter 260. Suchin smiled and declined to comment. Then he looked at the green-clothed zombie again and said lightly, Your ability is quite strange, I have never heard of it before. It's just a small trick, it's not worthy of Senior's attention. After knowing Suchin's true strength, the green-clothed zombie became more respectful, but at the same time, his heart became uneasy. After all, humans and zombies were like fire and water. If Suchin wanted to kill him, he wouldn't even have a chance to resist. What is the relationship between the humans in the village and you? Suchin stared at the green-clothed zombie and asked. Hearing this, the green-clothed zombie's eyes flashed with a trace of panic, and his face slightly changed. He didn't understand. Suchin clearly didn't enter the village. How could he know everything inside? However, he didn't have time to think about it, because Suchin's eyes were already looking at him with some impatience. Replying to Senior, the people in the village have a strange disease. They have lost their consciousness. I am trying to find a way to save them. The green-clothed zombie hurriedly replied. Zombies saving humans? This joke wasn't funny at all. Of course, Suchin didn't believe it, lightly snorted and said, I hate people lying to me the most. Those who lie to me don't have a good ending. The green-clothed zombie knew that Suchin was threatening him, so he gritted his teeth and explained, Senior, what I said is true, because I was originally from the Yang family fort. Although I became a zombie, I don't want the villagers to be harmed. This kind of nonsense could only fool a 3-year-old child. If he wanted to fool Suchin, it was no different from wishful thinking. Because once turned into a zombie, even if they had intelligence, their temperament would change greatly, and they would never have any good feelings towards humans. Of course, the humans in Temple of Heaven City with special bloodlines were an exception. And the green-clothed zombie in front of him definitely didn't have that kind of bloodline. If that was the case, then everything he said would be a lie. Looks like, if I don't make you suffer, you won't be willing to speak the truth. Suchin snorted and immediately released his spiritual power to bind the green-clothed zombie. Feeling an invisible force attacking his body, the green-clothed zombie's expression changed greatly. He hurriedly begged for mercy. Senior, please calm down. What I said is true. You won't shed tears until you see the coffin. Suchin's eyes turned cold. He manipulated his spiritual force and directly tore off one of the green-clothed zombie's arms. Ah! The green-clothed zombie roared in pain. Suchin remained unmoved. When he was about to eat the other arm of the green-clothed zombie, he suddenly discovered a very strange thing. The green-clothed zombie's wound was healing at a speed visible to the naked eye. The speed was so fast that it was almost the same as drinking a healing potion. You also have a healing body? Suchin's expression changed. The healing body, as the name suggested, had the ability to heal itself. Moreover, there were strong and weak abilities. It was rumored that those who had a strong healing body would never die as long as they weren't killed in one blow. Even if they were cut off, they could automatically regenerate. The green-clothed zombie in front of him had a weaker ability to heal. He could only heal wounds, but he didn't have the ability to regenerate broken limbs. Even so, it was still very impressive. You're making it more and more difficult for me to see through you. Suchin rubbed his nose and said in a deep voice. Not only did the green-clothed zombie have the ability to sense cultivation, but he also had a healing body. It completely overturned his understanding of zombies. Chapter 262. Human, there are many things that you can't see through. Don't be too smug. The zombie in green seemed to know that he couldn't survive. He wasn't afraid anymore and even mocked Su-Chen. Aren't you afraid that I'll kill you? Su-Chen frowned slightly. He always felt that the green zombie's words had a threatening meaning. However, he could kill him easily. What right did the zombie have to threaten him? Haha. The zombie in green sneered. If I didn't say that, would you let me go? Listening to the other party's words, Su-Chen wondered if he knew that he was going to die, so he decided to go all out? He couldn't be bothered to guess if that was the case. He raised his hand and shot out a wind blade, cutting off the zombie in green's head. The moment the zombie in green fell, the rest of the zombies regained their original nature and pounced on Su-Chen. Even the zombies in the village rushed over together with them. Su-Chen used a few spells and killed them all easily. Looking at a few rays of light on the ground, he was about to pick them up when a ray of red light suddenly shot out from the zombie in green's corpse and charged toward him. It happened so suddenly and the red light was as fast as lightning. Su-Chen didn't have time to defend himself. However, he didn't care. After his cultivation had advanced to level 4, the strength of his physical body had also increased accordingly. In addition, the most important point was that at level 4, the ancient Godfiend body would be immune to any level 4 attacks, and even level 5 attacks would at most cause him some injuries. Although the red light was fast, the power it emitted was definitely below level 5. Even a level 4 would have a hard time dealing with it. Su-Chen didn't have to worry about anything. In the next moment, the red light directly hit Su-Chen's chest. It was like hitting a steel plate, making a loud bang sound, and then it was bounced back. Su-Chen narrowed his eyes and locked onto the red light. Soon, a crimson worm that was half a meter long and emitting a red glow appeared in his vision. It looked like a giant maggot, very disgusting. Su-Chen didn't know what kind of bug this was, but since it dared to sneak attack him, he naturally wouldn't let it go. His mental strength instantly spread out and lifted the red worm into the air. Senior, I was wrong. I won't do it again. Please let me go this time. After struggling for a while, the crimson worm realized that it could not break free from the shackles and started to beg for mercy. The voice sounded exactly the same as the green-clothed zombie that had been killed. Su-Chen exclaimed softly. He sized up Crimson Bug and snorted. It seems that the zombie is controlled by you. The Crimson Bug and the green-clothed zombie had the same voice. After the green-clothed zombie died, the Crimson Bug did not die. Because of this, he became suspicious. Senior's eyes are sharp. That zombie was indeed under my control. Shuegu had learned his lesson this time. He did not dare to hide anything and answered honestly. Stop flattering me. Su-Chen's face darkened and he said coldly, which race do you belong to? Tell me the truth. I'm from the Blood Clan. Crimson Bug was so scared that he shivered. You're from the Blood Clan too? Why are you different from the Blood Clan? Su-Chen asked in a deep voice. Not only had he seen the Blood Clan, but he had also killed more than 10 of them. Crimson Bug also claimed to be from the Blood Clan. However, judging from their appearances, they were completely different races. Senior, you've seen the Blood Clan? Crimson Bug was surprised. Do I need to report to you whether I've seen them or not? Su-Chen's voice turned cold. He stared at Crimson Bug and snorted. Answer my question now. Chapter 263. Back in the car, Su-Chen ordered. Satoshi continued to the Black Rock City. After that, he sat in the driver's seat and closed his eyes to rest. However, there was always a smile on the corner of his mouth. This time, although there were not many zombies killed and only a few fragments were dropped, there was a purple gold fragment, which undoubtedly made him very satisfied. The intelligent war chariot moved forward slowly. The others had nothing to do, so they gathered together to play landlord as usual. In the next 3 days, Su-Chen did not kill any zombies. It was not that he did not encounter any zombies, but the number of zombies was too small. The most he encountered was 30 or 40 zombies, which was not worth killing. On the 4th day, the Black Rock City finally appeared on the central control screen. The intelligent war chariot's detection range was 200 kilometers, which meant that it was less than 200 kilometers away from the Black Rock City. Su-Chen was a little excited and looked at the Black Rock City. When he saw that there was not a single red dot in the Black Rock City, only a few blue dots, his face became a little stiff. No red dots meant that there were no zombies. They had come all the way here just to kill zombies. Now that there was not a single zombie to be seen, what was there to kill? These days were equivalent to wasting time. What happened? Su-Chen pondered. Previously, Su Wuhua said that there were more than 100,000 humans in the Black Rock City, but it was later captured by zombies. In this way, the number of zombies should have reached a terrifying number. The current situation was a little strange. After pondering for a while, he still decided to go to the Black Rock City to take a look. He suspected that the zombies in the Black Rock City were likely to have left. If he could find some clues and follow the clues, there was still a chance to find the whereabouts of the zombies. 2 hours later, the intelligent war chariot slowly drove in front of a huge city. This city was the Black Rock City. This city is so big. Chao Ran sighed with emotion. The Black Rock City, in terms of scale, was even larger than the King Kong City. It was a magnificent sight. The city walls were made of some black boulders, and each boulder weighed about several tons. However, Black Rock City was severely damaged. Most of the city walls had collapsed, and most of the buildings in the city were in ruins. It was as if a great battle had taken place. Su-Chen let the intelligent chariot stop in front of a collapsed city wall. After getting out of the car, he entered the city through the collapsed area. This time, he entered mainly to find the few humans here and ask them about the situation. Therefore, the others were left in the car. Through the observation on the central control screen, Su-Chen locked onto the specific location of the few humans. Then he sped up and rushed towards them. 10 minutes later, he appeared in front of a small building. This small building was relatively well preserved. It was surrounded by a wall made of stones, and some crops were planted inside. Su-Chen glanced around and walked straight to the entrance of the courtyard. He shouted inside, "Is anyone there?" Since he was here to inquire about the situation, it was inconvenient for him to barge in. Soon, a stooped old man walked out of the small building. He first glanced outside vigilantly, then shouted at Su-Chen, "Who are you?" "Old man, I'm just a passerby. I have something to ask you. Don't worry, I won't disturb you for long. In addition, I will pay some energy stones as a reward," Su-Chen said loudly. The stooped old man hesitated for a moment, then walked forward to open the courtyard door. When he saw that there was only Su-Chen outside, and that he was very young, he was slightly relieved. "Young man, what's the matter?" Chapter 264. Out of caution, the old man didn't invite Su-Chen into the house. Su-Chen could understand and didn't mind. He asked, "Weren't there a lot of zombies here before? Why are there no zombies now?" "There used to be a lot of zombies here, but they were all attacked by the sea beasts and ran away," the old man replied. Su-Chen's eyes lit up. He asked urgently, "How many sea beasts were there? Did they come from the Forgotten Worries Sea?" The sea beasts were actually a type of mutant beast, but one lived in the sea while the other lived on land. Su-Chen thought that since the mutant beasts could drop fragments, killing the sea beasts should also drop fragments. In this way, even if he couldn't kill any zombies, killing some sea beasts would be worthwhile. The sea beasts do live in the Forgotten Worries Sea, and their numbers have reached a terrifying level. "I'm afraid there are millions of them," the old man said in a deep voice. "Millions of them? How many fragments could he get if he killed all of them?" Su-Chen was excited. He continued to ask, "Why did the sea beasts attack the zombies here?" Normally, the sea beasts wouldn't go ashore easily. It was even rarer for them to take the initiative to attack zombies. The hunchbacked old man thought for a while and replied, "I heard it from someone else. It seems that the leader of the zombies stole an egg from a sea demon beast, and was retaliated by the sea demon beast." Su-Chen frowned and asked, "Old man, did you just say that one sea beast drove away all the zombies here?" There were at least tens of thousands of zombies in the Black Rock City, and one sea beast was able to drive them away? How strong was this sea demon beast? It must be at least a level 5 sea beast. The hunchbacked old man nodded. There is indeed one. However, that sea demon beast is extremely powerful. I heard that it has already reached level 5. As expected, Suchin said to himself. He continued to ask, what kind of sea beast was it? Where did it usually live? The hunchbacked old man was slightly surprised. He always felt that Suchin seemed to be very interested in the sea beasts. He then asked, young man, why are you asking about the whereabouts of the sea demon beasts? You're not going to hunt it, are you? After he finished speaking, even he himself was shocked. A level 5 sea demon beast couldn't even hide from him. Who would want to die to hunt him down? Suchin smiled but did not explain. He continued, Elder, just tell me. The hunchbacked old man didn't think too much about it and said directly, he's a giant tortoise, the size of a house. Every day at noon, I would go to the beach to bask in the sun for a while. The rest of the time, I would hide in the sea. Elder, how do you know so clearly? Suchin was a little puzzled. He could tell that the stooped old man was just an ordinary person. How would an ordinary person dare to observe the daily routine of a level 5 sea demon beast? The old man explained, not far from the beach there is a forest. Every day, we would go there to collect some wild fruits and vegetables. Over time, we learn more about the sea beast. Suchin nodded and asked, after the zombies here were defeated, where did they go? The old man shook his head. Zombies were the enemy of human beings. Who would go back to find out the whereabouts of the zombies? Seeing this, Suchin didn't ask any more questions. Although he didn't find the whereabouts of the zombies, he learned about the existence of a level 5 sea demon beast. This trip was not a loss. Elder, thank you for your information. These things are for you. Suchin took out some food and a dozen energy stones from his storage bag, and gave them to the old man. He then turned and left. Chapter 265. Looking at the food and energy stones in his hand, the old man was pleasantly surprised. These things were not worth mentioning to Suchin, but to him, it was no different from a huge fortune. Just as the old man was about to thank Suchin, he realized that Suchin was nowhere to be seen. What a fast speed! Could he be an evolver? The hunchbacked old man muttered. As soon as Suchin returned to the intelligent war chariot, Chao Ran and the other two came up to him with smiles on their faces. Chungu, did you find any traces of zombies? They had not killed any zombies for a few days, and the three of them were bored. Suchin shook his head. The zombies in Black Rock City have all run away, and I don't know where they went. So we came here for nothing? Yang Hao sighed. It took them a few days to come here from Heaven Temple City, and although they had some gains, it was still limited. If they went to other places, they might have killed tens of thousands of zombies. It's not a wasted trip, Suchin said with a smile. Even if we can't kill zombies, we can kill sea beasts. In fact, killing sea beasts was more cost-effective than killing zombies. This was because after killing it, in addition to obtaining energy stones and fragments, the sea monster's meat could also be eaten. Hearing that they were going to kill sea beasts, Yang Hao and the other two's eyes lit up. Even Wu Yang and Yang Lingtian were interested. Suchin, are we going to the Forgotten Worries Sea to kill sea beasts? Wu Yang asked. Sea beasts, as the name suggested, lived in the sea, and the Forgotten Worries Sea was the closest to them. The sea beasts in the Forgotten Worries Sea must be killed, but before that, let's kill a level 5 giant turtle first, Suchin said. Level 5 sea beasts were hard to come by, and a level 5 energy stone was priceless, and there was also a lot of meat to eat. Since they had encountered one, they could not let go of this opportunity. Level 5 sea demon beast. Hearing this, everyone's faces were filled with fear. Although their strength had greatly increased, facing a level 5 sea demon beast, they would probably be killed in one move. However, when they thought about how Suchin could easily kill a level 5 mutated tribe member, it shouldn't be a problem for him to kill a sea demon beast of the same level. Chungu, when are we going to make our move? Shirdanyu approached Suchin and asked. In his opinion, if Suchin wanted to kill that giant tortoise, he would definitely be able to. After that, wouldn't he be able to have a full meal? 1,000-year tortoise and a 10,000-year tortoise. A giant tortoise that could reach level 5 must have lived for a long time. And its nutritional value must be very high. Boiling soup, roasting meat, that taste sure Dania's imagination began to run wild. He couldn't wait to hunt that level 5 giant tortoise. Suchin knew what Shurdania was thinking. He smiled and said, "Let's rest here today, and hunt tomorrow afternoon." The level 5 giant tortoise would only come out at noon, and it was already close to evening, so they could only wait until tomorrow. After that, Suchin took out the universal oven and the 2 mutated beasts, and asked Yang how to prepare dinner. He walked to the central control screen and looked at it. Soon he saw a large number of red dots appear on the central control screen, and they were located at the Daylily Ocean. The hunchbacked old man had said before that there were millions of sea demons in the Daylily Ocean. This number might be an exaggeration, but there were more than 100,000. Facing so many sea demons, Suchin was naturally tempted. However, if he wanted to hunt sea demons, he had to enter the Daylily Ocean. He had never experienced this before, and he didn't know how to enter the ocean to hunt. Chapter 266. Satoshi, can you sail in the sea? Suchin asked. If he wanted to hunt the sea demon beasts in the sea, he would need a carrier. If the intelligent chariot could sail in the sea, it would be much easier to hunt sea beasts. Master, I need to reach level 5 before I can sail in the sea. Oh, Suchin nodded. The intelligent chariot was at most level 3. 5. It was still far from level 5. If that was the case, he would have to think of other ways to hunt sea beasts. Suchin heaved a sigh of relief, and did not dwell on this matter anymore. Food had to be eaten one mouthful at a time, and things had to be done one by one. First, he had to deal with the level 5 giant tortoise. The next day, the intelligent chariot drove towards a beach near the Forget Worries Ocean. The map on the central control screen showed that there was only one beach near the Forget Worries Ocean. The rest of the coast was filled with reefs and cliffs. Moreover, Suchin also noticed that there was a forest not far from the beach. This was basically the same as what the hunchback old man said. This meant that the beach was where the level 5 giant turtle sunbathed. When the intelligent chariot drove into the forest, Suchin asked it to stop. After saying a few words to the others, he went to the beach alone. The level 5 sea beasts were very powerful. To avoid any injuries, he decided to hunt them alone. As he came early, there was still some time before noon. Suchin strolled in the forest. After about half an hour, just as he was about to leave the forest and head to the beach, he heard light footsteps. Someone is coming? Suchin frowned and turned to look in the direction of the sound. Soon, 4 men and a woman appeared in his line of sight. When he saw their faces, Suchin was slightly stunned. Among the 5 of them, he happened to know one of them. It was the hunchback old man. "Old man, you're here to dig for wild vegetables again." Suchin greeted him from afar. Hearing someone shouting, the hunchbacked old man looked around. When he saw that it was Suchin, a hint of surprise appeared on his face. "Young man, why are you here?" With that, he led the other 4 people to Suchin's side. Although he had only met Suchin once, his impression of Suchin was still very good. Suchin had only asked a few simple questions yesterday, and had given a rich reward. His generosity made him feel a little embarrassed. "I'm here to take a look at the level 5 giant tortoise," Suchin said with a smile. "You can take a look, but don't get too close." The hunchbacked old man didn't think too deeply about it, and only gave a kind reminder. Suchin did not explain. He looked at the sky and asked, "Old man, does that level 5 giant turtle come out to bask in the sun every day?" It was already close to noon, but the level 5 giant tortoise was nowhere to be seen. This made him a little anxious. "I've been here no less than 100 times. As long as the time is right, I can see it," the hunchbacked old man explained. "That's good." Suchin nodded slightly and shifted his gaze to the beach. At this moment, there was a sudden surge in the sea. Immediately after, a huge figure emerged from the sea. The first thing that came into view was a huge tortoise shell with a diameter of more than 50 meters, like a small hill. It's finally out. Suchin was instantly excited, and his eyes were filled with a layer of heat. Chapter 267. Thump, thump. After the giant tortoise surfaced from the sea, it slowly walked towards the beach. With every step it took, it made a loud thud on the ground. It really is a level 5 sea demon beast, Suchin muttered to himself. His gaze never left the giant tortoise. Although he was far away, he could still feel the immense pressure emanating from the giant tortoise. "Old man, do you know the name of this giant tortoise?" Suchin asked the hunchbacked old man before the giant tortoise had completely climbed onto the beach. There were many different types of giant tortoises. Being able to reach level 5 meant that it was definitely a very powerful tortoise. "I've heard someone mention it before. I think it's a heavenly overlord tortoise," the hunchbacked old man replied. "The name sounds pretty impressive. I wonder how strong it is." Suchin muttered. He had only been in this world for a little more than a year, so he didn't know much. This was the first time he had heard of the heavenly overlord tortoise. When the hunchbacked old man and the others heard this mumble, they felt rather confused. The way he looked at Suchin also became strange. Judging from Suchin's tone, it seemed like he didn't care about the heavenly overlord tortoise at all. "Young man, it's a level 5 sea demon beast. Moreover, it's unusually strong among level 5 beasts. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been able to chase away the tens of thousands of zombies in Blackstone City." A middle-aged man behind the hunchbacked old man reminded Suchin. "If that's the case, it does have some strength." Suchin rubbed his nose, still looking unconcerned. "Young man, don't tell me you're thinking about this giant tortoise?" the hunchbacked old man probed. Although he felt that this idea was a little ridiculous, he still couldn't resist it. Suchin smiled and didn't say anything. Instead, he turned his attention back to the heavenly overlord tortoise. At this moment, the heavenly overlord tortoise had already found a place to lie down on the beach and lazily basked in the sun. This guy sure knows how to enjoy himself. The corner of Suchin's mouth twitched. He turned to the hunchbacked old man and said, "Old man, you'd better stay away. I'm going to catch a turtle." When fighting with a level 5 sea demon beast, the area affected was very wide. The hunchbacked old man and the others were all ordinary people. If they were too close, it would be easy for them to get injured. Suchin kindly reminded them. "What do you mean? Are you going to hunt the heavenly overlord turtle?" The hunchbacked old man and the others were dumbfounded. They thought they had misheard. Could a level 5 heavenly profound tortoise be killed? Even a level 5 evolver would have to retreat if they saw it. Could Suchin be a level 5 evolver? The answer was obvious. Suchin looked less than 20 years old. Even if he was an evolver, he could not be that strong. Then what right did he have to boast that he wanted to kill a level 5 heavenly overlord turtle? This was 2F** king ridiculous. Even if he wanted to show off, he couldn't do it like this, right? However, when they saw Suchin running toward the heavenly overlord turtle, they immediately realized that Suchin was really going to hunt the heavenly overlord turtle. "Grandpa, is he crazy?" a little girl behind the hunchbacked old man screamed. "Even if he wants to die, he can't do it like this, right? Isn't it good to be alive? Why do you want to die? Is he crazy?" The other 3 men all agreed that Suchin was definitely going to die. They all expressed their opinions. The hunchbacked old man looked at Suchin and sighed deeply. What a good young man. Why does he have to do it like this? Chapter 268. On the other side, Suchin ran towards the heavenly black tortoise at a moderate pace. When the two were less than 50 meters apart, the heavenly black tortoise seemed to have sensed something and opened its eyes slightly. In its line of sight, a young human was approaching it. At this moment, it had a very strange feeling in its heart. Is this human here to die? Or is he going to treat me as food? Thinking that it had just had a full meal, and that this human was not enough to fill the gaps between its teeth, the heavenly black tortoise opened its mouth and spat out a water arrow that shot straight towards Suchin. although it did not know why Su Chen was there. As long as he dared to disturb its sleep, he would have to die. The power of the level 5 water arrow technique was no joke. Even a level 5 evolver would not have an easy time facing it. After shooting the water arrow, the heavenly black tortoise closed its eyes again. In its opinion, Su Chen was just a weak human, and would not be able to resist the water arrow no matter what. He would definitely die. Is he going to die just like that? The hunchbacked old man in the forest in the distance seemed to be unable to bear to see Su Chen's miserable end. He sighed deeply and closed his eyes. He would not die if he did not seek death. How could he provoke the heavenly black tortoise? When the others saw that the heavenly black tortoise had released a spell attack, they shook their heads and sighed. They were certain that Su Chen would definitely die. When Su Chen saw a thick water arrow shooting straight towards him, the corners of his mouth twitched slightly, and he immediately used the golden scales on arms. When his arms shone with golden light, he punched the water arrow. There was a loud boom. The water arrow was smashed by the punch and turned into water droplets that shot out in all directions. The level 5 water arrow technique was very powerful. Even though it was smashed, it still smashed the surrounding ground, creating holes of various sizes. Su Chen bore the brunt of the impact, and was covered by large amounts of water droplets. However, with the ancient godfiend body, this power naturally could not hurt him at all. Countless water droplets splashed on his body and bounced off one after another, as if they were tickles. Seeing this scene, the people around the hunchbacked old man roared in shock. F***CK. He's too strong. He's also an evolver. But even an evolver can't shatter a level 5 water arrow with a single punch, right? Is he a level 6 evolver? Su Chen smashing the water arrow technique with a single punch made them feel incomparably inconceivable and shocked. What was going on? The hunchbacked old man didn't understand what was going on. He quickly opened his eyes, and when he saw Su Chen appear in his line of sight, unscathed, his jaw dropped. He didn't die? Not even a level 5 spell could kill him. Am I seeing things? Or does he really have the ability to resist a level 5 spell? For a moment, the hunchbacked old man's mind was in a mess. Su Chen shattered the water arrow and sped up toward the heavenly black tortoise. The mysterious heavenly overbearing tortoise, which had its eyes closed, suddenly heard footsteps that were getting clearer and clearer. Anger surged in its heart. Damn it. After killing one, another would come. How many reckless people were there in this world? Do they really think that I'm easy to bully? The heavenly black tortoise thought that Su Chen had been killed, and the approaching footsteps came from another person. However, when it opened its eyes and saw that it was still Su Chen, it was stunned. Why isn't he dead yet? Am I seeing things? The heavenly black tortoise felt that the scene in front of it was very unreal. One had to know that it had released a level 5 spell just now. Who could block it? Only a level 6 evolver could block the attack of a level 5 spell unscathed. How could this weak human in front of it be a level 6 evolver? This was the biggest joke in the world. Chapter 269. Unable to figure out what was going on, the heavenly overlord tortoise did not dwell on it any longer. This time, its murderous intent was aroused. It opened its mouth and shot out another water arrow. Compared to the previous one, the power of this water arrow technique was obviously much stronger. A weakling will always be a weakling. I'd like to see how you're going to block it this time. After shooting out the water arrow, the heavenly overlord tortoise revealed a cruel smile. In that pair of huge eyes, there was a look of contempt, as if Su Chen was already a dead man. The hunchbacked old man and the others in the forest stared intently at Su Chen. Previously, they found it unbelievable that Su Chen had destroyed the water arrow with a single punch. They did not want to believe it either. At this moment, they all wanted to see if Su Chen was still as brave as before. It's just a water arrow. It's just a small trick. You want to embarrass yourself in front of me? Seeing that there was a water arrow technique shooting towards him, Su Chen snorted coldly and immediately threw out another punch. Just like the first time he chose to fight head-on. He had no intention of backing down. In the next moment, a golden fist slammed into the water arrow and smashed it into smithereens. My dear mother is here. He can really shatter a level 5 spell. How strong is his physical body? Is he still human? The people around the hunchbacked old man could not remain calm anymore. They shouted again. If Su Chen had shattered the water arrow the first time, they were still suspicious. However, this time they had witnessed the entire process. The suspicion in their hearts disappeared without a trace. Shattering a level 5 spell twice in a row was definitely not luck. It was a reflection of true strength. Realizing this, the hunchbacked old man and the others fell into deep shock and daze. A human cultivator who was not even 20 years old could take a level 5 spell head-on with just his fists. Too powerful. Too awesome. Too unbelievable. Such a monster was unheard of. It only existed in legends. They never thought that they would be able to witness it with their own eyes today. So he wasn't trying to act tough, nor was he courting death. He had absolute strength. The hunchbacked old man's heart was in turmoil, unable to calm down for a long time. At first, they all thought that Su Chen was seeking his own death. However, reality slapped them hard in the face. Su Chen's strength was beyond doubt. He was truly a genius among geniuses, a monster among monsters. On the other side, the heavenly overlord tortoise swallowed hard when it saw its water arrow technique explode. The disdain in his eyes had disappeared and was replaced by fear. Without a doubt, Su Chen's strength had already caused it to feel a deep sense of fear. Old turtle, you hit me twice, now it's my turn. The corners of Su Chen's mouth curled into a strange arc. Then a purple light flashed under his feet. With a whoosh, he disappeared without a trace. His speed was as fast as a ghost. The heavenly overlord tortoise opened its mouth slightly, and its heart trembled violently. Su Chen's speed was too fast. It seemed to have completely surpassed the level of a level 5 evolver. It was the first time in its life that it had seen such speed. When it realized that Su Chen had disappeared, it realized that it was in danger. It quickly got up from the ground and looked around vigilantly. Soon, it discovered that Su Chen was charging at it from the side. You're courting death. The heavenly overlord tortoise sneered in its heart. Although Su Chen was very strong, it was very advantageous for him to choose to fight in close combat. This was because it only needed to open its mouth to swallow Su Chen. At that time, no matter how powerful Su Chen was, he could only become its food. Chapter 270. Just as Su Chen was about to reach it, the heavenly overlord tortoise quickly turned its head and bit at Su Chen. It was as fast as lightning and appeared in front of Su Chen in an instant. If it moved a little closer, it would be able to swallow Su Chen whole. Let's see how you escape this time. The heavenly overlord tortoise laughed proudly. At such a close distance, Su Chen had no time to dodge at all. He would definitely be swallowed. You're too naive. Su Chen smiled contemptuously. When the heavenly overlord tortoise's mouth was about to bite him, he spread out his mentality. Level 4 mentality. The heavenly overlord tortoise was shocked. Level 4 mentality might not be able to restrain it, but it severely hampered its speed. It would be impossible for it to swallow Su Chen in one bite. Crunch. The heavenly overlord tortoise finally bit down, but it bit the air. It didn't even touch Su Chen's clothes. At this time, Su Chen had already appeared on top of the heavenly overlord tortoise's head. He held a pitch-black battle sword with both hands and slashed it down. It was like a god descending from the heavens. His power was unstoppable. Sensing the approaching aura of death, the heavenly overlord tortoise shrank back in fear. In the face of Su Chen's attack, it knew that the best way to deal with it was to shrink its head into its turtle shell and become a real turtle that retreated into its shell. However, Su Chen's attack was too fast. It didn't even have time to react. The heavenly overlord tortoise had no choice but to open its mouth and spit out a water arrow to block the attack. Rip. The moment the water arrow shot out, it was split in half by the enchanted sword. It's over. The heavenly overlord tortoise's heart turned cold when it saw the water arrow being split apart like paper. Su Chen slashed down with his sword. Clang! The Heavenly Overlord Tortoise had a huge gash on its head. Blood splattered everywhere, and even its skull was shattered. After suffering such a heavy blow, the Heavenly Profound Overlord Tortoise only felt a splitting headache as its brain rumbled incessantly. After swaying a few times, it crashed heavily onto the ground, causing the ground to tremble uncontrollably. However, although it was heavily injured, it did not die. It was not to say that his defense was strong enough to withstand this strike. It was because Suchin wanted to keep it alive, so he withdrew most of his strength halfway. Otherwise, this slash would have directly cut off its head. Suchin stepped on the Heavenly Overlord Turtle's head and said in an icy voice, "Old Turtle, I'll give you a chance to live. Be my spirit pet and I won't kill you." If he wanted to hunt sea monsters in the Forget Worries Ocean, he needed a carrier. Thus, he planned to keep the Heavenly Overlord Turtle as his spirit pet. The Heavenly Overlord Turtle's body was huge, and it was also very powerful. With its help, killing the sea monsters would be as easy as pie. No matter how big the Forget Worries Ocean was, it was free to roam. Moreover, if he wanted to leave Chinyu Island in the future and head to other islands or the mysterious heavenly mainland, he would have to enter the ocean. The dangers in the ocean were unknown. With the Heavenly Overlord Turtle as his mount, it would definitely increase his safety. Upon hearing this, the Heavenly Overlord Turtle's big eyes rolled around. As a level 5 sea monster, its intelligence had long been activated. Naturally, it could understand the meaning of Suchen's words. However, a level 5 sea monster had its dignity. Moreover, it was the overlord of the Forget Worries Ocean. Naturally, it would not be willing to become someone's spirit pet. Under Suchen's cold gaze, the Heavenly Overlord Turtle retracted its head into its shell and turned around to fly toward the Forget Worries Ocean. It had calculated very clearly that as long as it escaped into the ocean, Suchen would not be able to do anything to it. The idea was good, but the reality was cruel. Would Suchen give it this chance? The answer was obvious. Suchen's face was full of sarcasm. Then, he raised his hands and shot an icicle and a green ball of light at the Heavenly Overlord Turtle. It froze on the spot. Chapter 271. The sight of the Heavenly Overlord Tortoise scampering away felt surreal to the hunchbacked old man and the others. The Overlord of the Forgotten Worries Ocean, an existence that could crush tens of thousands of zombies in Blackrock City, was being beaten into a coward by a human? Did it not care about its dignity as a level 5 sea monster? Or was Suchen really powerful enough to crush a level 5 sea monster? On the other side, half of the Heavenly Overlord Tortoise's body was frozen after being hit by the icicle. Its limbs were also entangled by vines, and it could not move at all. Although the icicle spell and the wood element entanglement spell were only level 4, they had combined with their conjured objects, and their power had surpassed level 5 spells. It was reasonable that the Heavenly Overlord Tortoise could be pinned to the ground by these 2 spells. He's a psychic master, and a dual elemental psychic master. Realizing this, the Heavenly Overlord Tortoise's heart was filled with a deep sense of fear. Previously, Suchen had already displayed the strength of a psychic master and an evolver. Now he had also released spells. This proved that Suchen was a full-time cultivator. Moreover, they had all reached level 4 and above. Facing a monster like Suchen, the Heavenly Overlord Tortoise felt a deep sense of powerlessness. It knew that if it continued to stubbornly resist, it would only be waiting to be slaughtered. So it simply stopped struggling. "Old Tortoise, why don't you run?" Suchen had a mocking look on his face as he slowly walked up to it. Woo woo. The Heavenly Overlord Tortoise lowered its head and crawled at Suchen's feet. It hoped to use this method to obtain Suchen's forgiveness. It was also a clear indication of their willingness to submit. Suchen originally wanted to teach it a lesson, but seeing how pitiful the Heavenly Overlord Tortoise was and how tactful it was, he did not lower himself to its level. After a while, he took out a bottle of pet potion from his storage bag and fed it to the Heavenly Overlord Tortoise. Soon, the Heavenly Overlord Tortoise became docile. It looked at Suchen with reverence. Suchen retracted the ice and wood element spells and patted the Heavenly Overlord Tortoise's huge head. He whispered, "Overlord, wait for me here. Don't go anywhere." Since he had taken the heavenly Overlord tortoise, he naturally had to change the way he called it. The name Xiaoba was very appropriate. Woo-woo. The heavenly Overlord tortoise kept nodding. It looked just like a pet tortoise. After subduing the heavenly Overlord turtle and obtaining a mount, Su Chen's next step was to go out to sea and hunt for sea monsters. Before that, he had to bring Wu Yang and the others with him. Then Su Overlord tortoises. When they passed through the forest, the hunchbacked old man and the others came up to greet them. Their attitudes were extremely respectful, and they kept calling out Senior. Lord of Overlord Tortoise of Lin was. After seeing Su Chen's strength, how would he dare to use the previous title to talk to Su Chen? Su Chen smiled. Old man, just call me Su Chen. Is there anything else? Did you subdue the heavenly Overlord Tortoise? Luza's Overlord Tortoise probed. The reason why he asked this question was purely out of curiosity. It's my spirit pet now, Su Chen replied. If there's nothing else, I'll take my leave. No problem. Lu's Overlord Tortoise hurriedly replied. When Su Chen disappeared from sight, the little girl beside Lu's Overlord Tortoise clicked her tongue. Grandpa Big Brother is too powerful. He can even subdue the heavenly Overlord Tortoise. Lu's Overlord Tortoise nodded. Subduing a level 5 demonic beast was much more difficult than killing one. It was obvious that Su Chen's Overlord Tortoise was more terrifying than they had imagined. Chapter 272. Su Chen passed through the woods and quickly returned to the intelligent war chariot. Changge, did you kill the giant turtle? Chao Ran asked with a smile. No. Su Chen shook his head. Didn't kill it? The people in the chariot were confused. Su Chen had always been invincible in their eyes. Could it be that the giant turtle was so powerful that even Su Chen couldn't do anything to it? Changge, did you let that giant tortoise get away? Yang Hao voiced out his thoughts. He thought the giant turtle must have run away because it couldn't defeat Su Chen. I took it as a spiritual pet, Su Chen explained with a smile. Took it as a spiritual pet? A level 5 sea monster could be taken as a spiritual pet? Everyone was surprised. Generally speaking, the more powerful a mutant beast was, the harder it was to tame it. It was rare to tame a level 5 mutant beast as a spiritual pet. In addition, everyone was a little excited. Because of the addition of a level 5 mutant beast, their strength had undoubtedly increased by a large margin. Wu Yang seemed to have thought of something. He frowned slightly and said to Su Chen, Su Chen, is that giant turtle really the size of a house? It's much bigger than an ordinary house. Su Chen nodded. It's so big that it can't fit in the chariot, Wu Yang reminded. The intelligent war chariot was only about 50 meters at its largest state. It might not be as big as the giant turtle, so it definitely couldn't fit in. Since it couldn't fit, how could they bring this big guy with them? Could they let it follow them around every day? However, it was a sea monster after all. Could it be fine if it left the sea for a long time? Su Chen had already considered this point. He had a pet breeding space. As long as he leveled up a few more times, the space would be big enough to place the heavenly Overlord turtle inside. Don't worry, I have my ways. Su Chen smiled, and then told them about his plan to go to the Forget Worries Sea to hunt sea monsters. Everyone's eyes lit up when they heard that they were going to hunt sea beasts. They had lived inland since they were young and had only heard of the sea, but had never seen it. This time, when he went to hunt the sea beasts, he would be able to see the magnificence of the sea. Changge, when are we leaving? Yang Hao was a little impatient. Let's go now, Su Chen replied and ordered the intelligent war chariot. Satoshi, head to the beach. Yes. The intelligent war chariot started and drove straight to the beach. While passing through the forest, Su Chen did not see the stooped old man and the others. He must have returned to Blackrock City. Not long after, the intelligent war chariot arrived in front of the Heavenly King Turtle. After everyone got out of the car and saw the huge monster in front of them, they all gasped. Before they came, they already knew that the Heavenly Black Turtle was a big fellow. However, After seeing it with their own eyes, they were still extremely shocked. Little turtle, they are all my friends. You have to get along well with each other in the future. Suchin walked forward and stroked the heavenly overlord tortoise's head as he instructed. The heavenly black turtle made a woo-woo sound as if it was greeting everyone. This big fellow is so cute. Tanlin's interest was piqued. He imitated Suchin and stroked the heavenly black turtle's big head. The others also followed suit and had a close encounter with the heavenly overlord turtle. Yang Hao and Chaoran climbed up the turtle shell and looked into the distance. Suchin returned to the car and contacted the intelligent war chariot. Satoshi, can you fix yourself on the turtle shell? Considering that there was a certain risk in going out to sea to hunt sea monsters, if he could continue to stay in the car, he would not have to worry about his safety. Chapter 273. I can make 4 suction cups and attach them to the turtle shell, but I need to upgrade it first, the intelligent war chariot said. How many energy stones do I need to upgrade it? Suchen's eyes lit up. I need 20 level 2 energy stones. Suchen did not lack energy stones now, and he had quite a number of level 2 energy stones. Then he took out 20 level 2 energy stones and placed them in the groove below the central control screen. A minute later, the energy stones disappeared. The intelligent war chariot said, Master, the upgrade is complete. Okay, turn into your smallest form later, and I'll bring you to the top of the turtle shell. Suchen said as he got out of the car. According to Suchen's instructions, the intelligent war chariot quickly shrunk to the size of a palm. Suchen grabbed it and climbed onto the heavenly overlord tortoise's shell. Then he put it down. Satoshi, turn into a 30-meter-long form and attach it to the turtle shell. The intelligent war chariot slowly grew bigger. When it was 30 meters long, 4 suction cups extended from the bottom of the car and firmly attached it to the turtle shell. Suchen pushed it with his hand, but the intelligent war chariot did not move at all, as if it had become one with the turtle shell. Suchen was relieved. After a while, he called everyone into the car and ordered the heavenly overlord turtle, Little Overlord, enter the sea and hunt the sea beasts. Woo-woo. The heavenly overlord turtle responded and crawled toward the Forget Worries ocean. Suchen stood in front of the car, squinted his eyes and looked out. The Forget Worries ocean was different from the ocean he saw in his previous life. The ocean in his previous life was blue, but the ocean here was dark, giving off a gloomy feeling. Suchen did not care about that. What he cared about was the number of sea beasts. Then he shifted his gaze to the central control screen. There were tens of thousands of red dots on the central control screen. Seeing that, Suchen's face was full of smiles. However, in the next moment his smile froze. He stared at the central control screen and muttered, What's going on? Why are all the sea beasts running away? The central control screen clearly showed that the red dots were rapidly moving away from him. Moreover, no matter where the heavenly overlord tortoise swam, the sea monsters would flee. It was as if they knew in advance that someone would hunt them down. This situation was very strange, and it drove Suchen crazy. The sea beasts were all avoiding him. How was he going to kill them? How could it drop fragments? What's wrong? Suchen racked his brains. Suddenly he thought of something. He opened the car door and shouted at the heavenly overlord turtle. Little Overlord, retract your aura. If you dare to leak even a little, I'll stew you. As a level 5 demonic beast, the heavenly overlord turtle was in existence that could do whatever it wanted in the Forgotten Worries ocean. If he didn't restrain his aura, those weak sea beasts would be scared out of their wits. Which sea demon beast would be so tired of living that it would dare to stay where it was and wait for the heavenly profound overlord tortoise to kill it? After being scolded by Suchen, the heavenly profound overlord turtle trembled in fear. It quickly retracted its aura and aura. Soon, it seemed to have turned into a lifeless boulder. Suchen nodded in satisfaction and looked at the central control screen. Sure enough, it was just as he had guessed. Since they could not sense the heavenly profound overlord turtle's aura, those sea monsters stopped running away. Suchen found a group of about 3,000 sea monsters. He then instructed the heavenly profound overlord turtle, Little Overlord, change direction and head to the left. Chapter 274. The group of sea beasts was 30 kilometers to the left. The heavenly overlord turtle was extremely fast, and it was only a few hundred meters away from the group of sea beasts in less than 10 minutes. Since the heavenly overlord turtle had restrained its aura and pressure, the group of sea beasts did not sense the approaching danger. Su-chin did not have any experience in hunting sea beasts, but he knew that once the group of sea beasts sensed danger, they would definitely flee in all directions. Therefore, once the hunt began, he had to use thunderous means. After thinking about it, he felt that the combination of the thunderstorm technique and the magnetic storm net of the intelligent war chariot should cause huge casualties to the sea beasts. Then he communicated with the intelligent war chariot and decided on a strategy. When the heavenly overlord turtle was less than 30 meters away from the group of sea beasts, the group of sea beasts sensed the approaching danger and began to flee. Su-chin and the intelligent war chariot also attacked at the same time. Thunderballs shot out from Su-chin's hands and quickly fell into the group of sea beasts. Then, there was a violent explosion, setting off stormy waves, and tens of thousands of lightning bolts wreaked havoc. The strongest sea beasts in this group of sea beasts were only at level 2. How could they resist the thunderstorm technique combined with the wild thunder technique? In the blink of an eye, hundreds of sea beasts died on the spot. The blood that flowed out dyed the dark sea red. On the other side, the intelligent war chariot was also continuously releasing the magnetic storm net. Seawater could conduct electricity, which undoubtedly increased the power of the magnetic storm net. As long as the magnetic storm net covered the area, no sea beasts could escape with their lives. They all became charred corpses. The people in the car could not help but be excited when they saw the thousands of sea beasts' corpses floating on the sea surface. At the same time, they were secretly amazed by the killing speed of Su-chin and the intelligent war chariot. If it were them, they would not even be able to kill 1/10 of the sea beasts. After a few minutes, the killing stopped. More than 2,000 sea beasts had been killed. As the remaining sea beasts had scattered and fled, Su-chin did not continue to chase after them. This was his first time hunting, so he was quite satisfied with his harvest. "Xiaoba, swim over," Su-chin ordered. After the hunt was over, it was time to dig out the energy stones and pick up the fragments. Since the sea demon beasts had died in large numbers, most of them had gathered together. Therefore, the following work had become much easier. After the heavenly overlord tortoise swam past, everyone got out of the car and started to fish out the corpses of the sea monsters. The sea beasts that were killed were all of the same species, and they all looked a little strange. It had a fish head and a fish body. It was more than a meter long, but it had 4 limbs under its belly. It looked neither fish nor fowl. "Chun-gu, what should we do with these corpses?" Yang Hao dug out an energy stone from the corpse of a sea demon beast and asked Su-chin. The sea demon beasts were edible, but there were more than 2,000 of them. The intelligent war chariot couldn't fit them all. Su-chin thought for a moment and replied, "Stay here. I'll deal with it later." If it was in the past, he would only leave behind a few dozen at most. However, things were different now. There was an additional heavenly overlord tortoise. This guy looked like a foodie just by looking at its body. He had to store more food. "Got it, Chun-gu." Yang Hao replied and continued to fish out the sea monsters. Su-chin began to pick up the fragments. This time, more than 300 fragments were dropped. There were fragments of various colors. They intertwined with each other and appeared colorful. They were shiny and dazzling. Su-chin glanced at them and a purple gold fragment soon appeared in his sight. Chapter 275. Su-chin suppressed his excitement and grabbed it. Picked up 2,000 energy points fragment *111. The fragments are full, can be used or exchanged for energy points. Use. After saying that, Su-chin opened the Doomsday Mall and checked it. When he saw that the energy points had reached 5,400 points, the corners of his mouth curled up slightly. 5,000 energy points could be exchanged for Blade of Divine Sense, and now it had exceeded the exchange amount. Blade of Divine Sense was also something that Suchin was determined to get, and he had an impulse to exchange for it immediately. However, in the end he resisted the urge, because there was still Heavenly Hundredfold Strength technique in front of it. Comparing the two, he still chose Heavenly Hundredfold Strength technique. Therefore, the Blade of Divine Sense could only be moved back a little. Closing the Doomsday Maw, Suchin continued to pick up fragments. The second was a black fragment. Picked up, Torpedo Launcher Fragment *1, 110. The fragments are not full, cannot be used, can be exchanged for energy points. No exchange. Torpedo Launcher was something that appeared for the first time. Considering that it was hunting good beasts in the sea, if he could collect enough Torpedo Launcher and install it on the Intelligent Chariot, he would definitely be able to hunt more sea beasts. Suchin was a little tempted. Torpedo Launcher was useful now. If the remaining fragments could not be collected, he planned to exchange for it through the Doomsday Maw. In short, he would not miss anything that could help him hunt sea beasts. After calming himself down, he grabbed one of the black fragments. Picked up Chaos Skysplitting Sword Fragment *1, 100. The fragments are not full, cannot be used, can be exchanged for energy points. No exchange. Chaos Skysplitting Sword was a weapon from the name, and it was definitely a very powerful weapon, because the number of fragments needed to be collected reached 100, which was equivalent to the ancient Godfiend body. The Enchanted Divine Saber that Suchin obtained earlier, although it was only exchanged for 3 fragments, was very powerful. Chaos Skysplitting Sword required 100 fragments, which was more than 30 times the Enchanted Divine Saber. From this, it could be inferred that the Chaos Skysplitting Sword must be a powerful magic weapon. Originally, he planned to exchange for the Through Heaven Hundredfold Vigorous Strength technique first, but the appearance of the Chaos Skysplitting Sword made him a little uncertain. Suchin took a deep breath and calmed himself down. He didn't want to be entangled in this aspect. There was still a gap of nearly 5,000 energy points. There was no point in thinking too much now. Then he continued to pick up the fragments. Picked up Hard Fruit Fragment *1, 1. The fragment is full, can be used or exchanged for energy points. Exchange for energy points. Picked up Upgrade Gem Fragment *1, 1. The fragments are full. Can be used or exchanged for energy points. Use. Picked up Torpedo Launcher Fragment *1, 10. Full of fragments. Can be used or exchanged for energy points. Use. Suchin was extremely excited. An hour later, all the fragments were collected, and the last fragment was the Torpedo Launcher. Previously, he had collected 9 fragments, and with this one he had reached the standard to use it. As soon as he obtained the Torpedo Launcher, Suchin consumed a fusion gem and installed it on the Intelligent War Vehicle. As the name suggested, the Torpedo Launcher was used to launch torpedoes. Each torpedo required 100 energy stones to be converted. There was no level limit to the energy stones. Regardless of whether it was an ordinary energy stone or a high-level energy stone, the power of the torpedo was the same. A single torpedo could kill 300 sea demon beasts below level 3. Chapter 276. After installing the torpedo launcher, Suchin took out all the upgrade gems and expanded the storage bag to 200 cubic meters in one breath. Then, he began to collect the corpses of the sea monsters. 2 hours later, all the energy stones were dug out, and the corpses of the sea monsters were all collected into the storage bag. Suchin began to look for the traces of the sea monsters. Soon, he found a group of about 1,000 sea monster beasts, and they were 10 kilometers away. Satoshi, lock onto the position of the sea monsters and prepare to launch the torpedoes. In order to test the power of the torpedo launcher, Suchin decided to let the Intelligent War Chariot take action. The torpedo launcher's maximum range was 50 kilometers, which was enough to hit the group of sea monsters. Master, how many torpedoes should we launch? The Intelligent War Chariot asked Suchin. One torpedo was equivalent to 100 energy stones, so the consumption was quite high. Logically speaking, 3 torpedoes should be enough to wipe out the group of sea monsters. However, to be safe, Suchin still decided to use 4 torpedoes. 4 torpedoes were worth 400 energy stones. If he could get 1,000 energy stones by killing 1,000 sea demon beasts, it would be a profitable deal. Satoshi, launch 4 torpedoes. Suchin ordered. Yes. The intelligent war chariot locked onto the target and launched 4 torpedoes in a row. Each torpedo was more than 5 meters long. After falling into the water, they disappeared under the sea and quickly rushed toward the group of sea monsters. Suchin and the others waited patiently. Soon, 4 violent explosions came from the front, and then 4 monstrous waves soared into the sky. Wu Yang and the others were stunned, and their faces were filled with excitement. The intelligent war chariot had such a powerful killing weapon, which meant that it could kill even more sea demon beasts. Suchin glanced at the central control screen. When he saw more than 1,000 red dots disappear, the corners of his mouth rose slightly. The disappearance of the red dots meant that all the sea monsters were killed. Xiaoba, let's go. Suchin ordered. Woo woo. The heavenly overlord tortoise responded. It flipped its 4 claws and broke through the waves. It swam toward the place where the sea monster beast had been killed. Although his body was huge, his swimming speed was very fast. After 10 minutes, he arrived at his destination. Seeing thousands of good demon beast corpses floating on the surface of the sea, without waiting for Suchin's order, Yang Hao and the others began to move. Suchin was not in a hurry to pick up the fragments. He first glanced at them to determine the number. There were more than 100 of them this time, which was more or less what he had expected. Since he didn't find any valuable fragments, he started to pick up the ones closest to him. The first one was a green fragment. Picked up, walking on level ground and wave treading technique fragment *113. The fragment is not full, so it cannot be used. It can be exchanged for energy points. No exchange. After saying that, Suchin was a little moved. From the name of the wave treading technique, it seemed that one could walk on water. If that was the case, wouldn't he be able to swim freely in the Forgotten Worries Sea? With this thought in mind, Suchin opened the Doomsday Mall and checked the exchange points for the walking on level ground and wave treading technique. When he saw that one fragment was worth 10 energy points, he spent 20 energy points to exchange for 2 fragments without hesitation. After the number was gathered, he received a feedback message. As expected, the walking on level ground and wave treading technique could really allow one to walk on water. Moreover, there would be no consumption during the process of walking. It was as if it was an innate talent. Chapter 277. Suchin took a deep breath and stepped on the surface of the sea. He felt that there was something soft under his feet, as if he was stepping on grass. It was very comfortable. Through this step, he proved that he could walk on the surface of the sea. After a while, he strode into the sea as if he was walking on flat ground. Sherdaniu was dragging a sea monster up when he suddenly saw a figure in front of him. Someone can walk on the sea? Sherdaniu's head buzzed. He thought that he was seeing things, so he quickly looked at the figure. When he saw that someone was walking on the sea, and it was Suchin, he was dumbfounded. Sherdaniu's mouth was wide open, and he was completely dumbfounded. Dani, what's wrong? Hurry up. Chao Ran, who was beside him, saw that Sherdaniu was in a daze and reminded him. Sherdaniu came back to his senses and pointed at Suchin. He said in a trembling voice, "Brother Chao, Chingu is walking on the sea." "What nonsense are you talking about?" Chao Ran didn't think much of it, but he still looked in the direction Sherdaniu was pointing. When he saw that Suchin was indeed walking on the sea, his eyes almost popped out. He exclaimed, "Oh my God, Chingu can walk on the sea." What was that? Suchin could walk on the sea? The others looked at the sea with doubts. In his line of sight, Suchin seemed to be stepping on flat ground. He walked here and there, reaching down from time to time to grab something. Seeing this, they were all dumbfounded. Standing on the sea as if walking on flat ground, this was too amazing and too incredible. After a long time, Wu Yang couldn't help but ask Su Chen loudly, Su Chen, how did you do it? Su Chen knew what Wu Yang was asking. A meaningful smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. This is a talent of mine. I didn't have the chance to show it before, but it came in handy today. Talent? Was there such a miraculous talent in this world? Why didn't we? Wu Yang and the others shook their heads. They all knew that talent was something that one was born with. There was no point in being jealous. Moreover, it was not surprising that it appeared on Su Chen. This was because Su Chen himself was an extraordinary person. It could also be said that he was a person who created miracles. There was nothing that Su Chen couldn't do. Yang Hao and Chao Ran looked at each other and exclaimed at the same time, Chen Ge, you're awesome. After this brief interlude, everyone continued to salvage the corpses of the sea beasts. Since Su Chen could walk freely on the sea, the speed at which he picked up the shards was much faster. In less than half an hour, all the fragments had been collected. Then he began to collect the corpses of the sea beasts and stored them in his storage pouch. After working for an hour, everyone returned to the intelligent war chariot. After killing 2 waves of sea demon beasts in a row, everyone was a little tired. Moreover, the sky had darkened. Su Chen decided to call it a day. Then he took out the universal oven and some good sea beast corpses and prepared dinner. At this moment, the intelligent war chariot suddenly contacted Su Chen. Master, I found a large number of thunderstorm stones on a small island 50 kilometers away. What's the use of thunderstorm stones? Su Chen asked. The intelligent war chariot has the ability to detect ores. Last time, it detected the star-gathering stone on Zhou Yun's body. After obtaining the star-gathering stone, it upgraded the magnetic storm net to level 3 in one fell swoop. He couldn't help but wonder if the thunderstorm stones also had this function. Chapter 278. The thunderstorm stone can increase the power of the magnetic storm net and the torpedo. It can also help me create a new offensive weapon, the thunderbolt beam, the intelligent war chariot explained. Su Chen's eyes lit up when he heard that. The thunderstorm stone was obviously more useful than the star-gathering stone. He was determined to get such a good thing. After a while, Su Chen looked at the central control screen and observed the island. The central control screen did not show the name of the island, which meant that it was a deserted island. However, to Su Chen's surprise, there was a black spot on the island. There's an alien creature here. Su Chen narrowed his eyes and muttered. Up until now, he had encountered quite a few types of non-human creatures. It could be said that every time he encountered an alien creature, he would more or less gain something. He was looking forward to seeing this alien creature on the island. However, it was late now, so he decided to go to the island tomorrow to explore. Chen Ge, the sea monster's meat is ready. It's delicious. Come and eat. It was also at this moment that Yang Hao shouted. Su Chen withdrew his gaze and walked straight forward. For the rest of the time, everyone sat together, eating barbecued meat and chatting happily. The next morning, Su Chen stood in front of the central control screen and began to look for the whereabouts of the sea monsters. Soon he found several groups of sea monsters. One of them had more than 1,000 sea monsters and was less than 30 kilometers away from the island. Su Chen planned to go to the island alone and let the others continue to hunt the sea monsters. And this group of sea monsters not far from the deserted island was just right for the job. Then, Su Chen gave the Heavenly Overlord Turtle an order. Their target was the group of sea monsters. On the way, he told Wu Yang and the others about going to the deserted island. When they were close to the deserted island, they separated and went to the group of deserted islands alone. The Heavenly Overlord Turtle continued to lead the others to hunt the sea monsters. Su Chen flew on the sea for more than 10 minutes before he set foot on the deserted island. The area of this deserted island wasn't very large. At a glance, it was about 2,000 square meters. There was no vegetation on it, only bare stones. It looked very desolate. Su Chen was not in a hurry to find the alien creature. Instead, he decided to look for the thunderstorm stone first. Since he did not know the exact location of the thunderstorm stone, he could only walk around. As he walked, he released his mind power and penetrated into the ground to search. However, after walking for a while, he did not find any thunderstorm stones. Instead, he discovered something very strange. There were a large number of skeletons buried under the island. Most of them belonged to mutant beasts, but there were also quite a number of human skeletons. One of them was especially large. It was unknown what kind of mutated beast it was when it was alive. Its size was comparable to the heavenly overlord turtle. In addition, the closer they got to the center of the island, the more skeletons there were. Could it be that the creature here is a member of the blood race? Suchin muttered. Previously, on the way to Blackrock City, he had also discovered a large number of skeletons. It was very likely the work of the blood race. When he thought of this, he began to suspect that the creature here might also be a member of the blood race. After pondering for a while, Suchin walked straight to the center of the island. When he reached the center, he saw a huge rock lying on the ground like a small mountain. Moreover, on the side of the huge rock there was a cave. It was completely dark inside. Just as Suchin was about to release his mind power to investigate, a ghostly howl came from the cave. It's a human. I haven't eaten fresh human flesh for a long time. I miss it. Chapter 279. Suchin rubbed his nose and said indifferently, "It's been a few days since I've killed a member of the mutated race. I miss it very much." The other party wanted to show off in front of him. Was that possible? With one sentence, he suppressed the other party's arrogance. "You're from the undead race?" "No, you're clearly from the human race. Why do you speak the language of the undead race?" A man's hoarse questioning voice came from the cave. Suchin was slightly stunned. He originally thought that the person in the cave would be from the Blood Clan. He never thought that it would be from the undead race. However, no matter which race he was from, he was not afraid at all. Pursing his lips, Suchin said disdainfully, "I'm proficient in the languages of thousands of races. A mere undead race is nothing." Arrogant. Soon, an angry roar came from the cave. Then a figure slowly walked out from inside. As he walked, he threatened, "Boy, you've successfully angered me. I'll make you beg for death." When he saw the appearance of the person, Suchin's eyelids twitched violently. What appeared in front of him was not a human at all. It was a white skeleton. The skeleton held a thick animal bone in its hand. 2 balls of green flames danced in its 2 deep eye sockets. It gave off a very strange feeling. Suchin sized it up. His eyes gradually narrowed and he snorted, "Are all the members of the undead race like you?" Hearing this, the flames in the eyes of the undead race jumped violently. Then he said fiercely, "Boy, the undead race is not for a weakling like you to humiliate. You'll pay a heavy price for this." Suchin pursed his lips and said sarcastically, "Do you mean that as long as you're strong, you can humiliate the undead race?" After being teased by Suchin, the undead race was about to explode. He roared, "Boy, I want you dead." With that, he pointed the animal bone in his hand at the ground. A white light shot out from it. In an instant, it sank into the ground and disappeared without a trace. Just when Suchin was a little confused, he suddenly felt the ground tremble. At first, it was relatively mild, but as time passed, it became more and more intense. In the end, he could only hear the sound of something breaking through the ground. What was that sound? Suchin scanned the area and saw hundreds of skeletons of different sizes. Obviously, these white bones were the ones he had seen underground. In the face of such a strange situation, Suchin's expression changed slightly, but he quickly recovered. Then he looked at the undead and said disdainfully, "Is this what you're relying on?" "Hee." The undead man smiled gloomily and said in a cold voice, "Boy, let's see how long you can pretend." From beginning to end, Suchin had a calm expression, as if he didn't put him in his eyes at all. This made the undead race very unhappy. Although he couldn't figure out Suchin's background, Suchin was young and a weak human. He thought that Suchin was definitely not a powerful person. The calmness he was showing now was completely pretentious. Little ones, kill him for me. The undead race didn't intend to talk to Suchin anymore. He stretched out his hand and pointed at Suchin, shouting loudly. Receiving the order of the undead race, all the white bones launched an attack on Suchin together. The one who rushed to the front was a human skeleton. He clenched his fist and smashed it at Suchin. Suchin stood in place, motionless, and had no intention of dodging or defending. This was because he had already perceived that the strongest among those white bones was only a level 2 evolver. Most of the rest were level 1 evolvers. He had the ancient god-demon body, and was invincible among his peers. How could a mere level 1 or level 2 evolver hurt him? Chapter 281. Now it's my turn. Suchin sneered. He moved his feet and charged toward the undead race. This time he had already activated the Continue Battle Boots. His speed soared to the extreme. Like a ghost, he instantly appeared in front of the undead race. You. The undead race was scared out of his wits, and the corners of his mouth trembled. Suchin's speed had completely exceeded the speed of a level 5 evolved person. He didn't even have time to withdraw his spirit power to defend himself before he saw a golden fist coming toward him. Bang! Kacha! Suchin's fist hit the undead race's chest, blowing up half of his body. Although the undead race was a level 5 spirit reader master, his body was only slightly stronger than an ordinary person's. Facing Suchin's violent attack, he naturally couldn't block it. Ah! The undead screamed and fell heavily to the ground. The remaining half of his skeleton broke apart, and his head was separated from his body. Suchin walked forward and looked at the undead race with interest. He said lightly, "You undead race are quite capable. You've been beaten to this state, but you're still alive." Although the undead race in front of him only had a head left, the 2 flames in his eye sockets had not extinguished. They were still exuding a faint breath of life. "Human, let me go. I can give you something in exchange," the undead race said weakly. The arrogant and conceited attitude from before had completely disappeared, and was replaced by a deep sense of fear. "Tell me, what is it?" Suchin rubbed his nose. The undead race was now a fish on the chopping board, waiting to be slaughtered. The reason why he didn't make a move was because he was a little suspicious of the thing the undead race was talking about. Was it the thunderstorm stone? If it was, he wouldn't have to look around and would save a lot of time. "I'll use 100 thunderstorm stones to buy my life," the undead race said, gritting his teeth. Although the thunderstorm stone was precious, it was nothing compared to his life. If he could buy a life, it would be very cost-effective. However, he was obviously thinking too much. With Suchin's style of doing things, how could he let him live? "Tell me the whereabouts of the thunderstorm stone, and I'll give you a quick death." Suchin stared at the undead clan. His voice was as cold as ice, and his eyes were filled with killing intent. Hee. In the face of Suchin's threat, the undead sneered instead. "You want me to hand over the thunderstorm stone? You're delusional." Since Suchin was unwilling to let him go, why should he hand over the thunderstorm stone? He was going to die anyway. Before he died, he had to make Suchin suffer. "You are very courageous. I hope you can continue to be so stubborn." Suchin's face turned gloomy. As soon as he finished speaking, he stretched out his hand and flicked a ray of lightning at the head of the undead race. A lightning-type spell. "You're a Dharma psychic?" The undead race had just come up with this idea when he was struck by this ray of lightning and cried out. Although Suchin had only released a small amount of lightning-type magical power, after all, it contained the power of the divine thunder of desolation, and its lethality could not be underestimated. After suffering a round of lightning and thunder, the aura of the undead race slipped rapidly, and he became extremely dispirited. The flames in his eye sockets also dimmed, as if they were about to be extinguished. Suchin did not say much. He raised his hand and snapped his fingers. Suddenly, a small scarlet flame sprang out between his fingers. Although it was only a small ball, the power of fire it contained was still unusually violent. "I'll see how long you can use your mouth." The corners of Suchin's mouth curled slightly, and he was about to flick out the flame. I said in the cave, give me a quick death. The undead race was really scared this time and told the truth. Chapter 282. Su-Chen released his mind power and extended it into the cave. Soon, he found a small pile of ores that emitted lightning waves. Now that he had found the whereabouts of the thunderstorm stone, there was no need for the undead tribe to exist. Su-Chen shot out a spell and shattered his head. Then he entered the cave and put the thunderstorm stone into his storage bag. Just as he walked out of the cave, for loud noises came from afar. Su-Chen looked in the direction of the huge noises. Then he retracted his gaze and flew in the direction of the loud noises. These 4 loud noises must have been caused by the torpedoes fired by the intelligent war chariot. This meant that Wu Yang and the others had already started hunting the sea monsters. He had to hurry over to help. On the other side, the intelligent war chariot fired 4 torpedoes and killed all the sea monsters that it had locked onto. At this moment, they were rushing to the hunting area at full speed. Unexpectedly, when they were halfway there, they saw a huge ship in front of them. This huge ship was about 300 meters long and as tall as a 10-story building. It was completely made of brown wood. Looking from afar, it gave off a very shocking feeling. Moreover, not only was it huge, but it was also extraordinarily fast. It was even a little faster than the heavenly overlord turtle. The direction it was heading was also the sea area where the sea monsters were hunted. Captain Wu, are they going to snatch our sea monsters? Yang Hao frowned and reminded him. I hope not. Wu Yang's eyes turned cold as he took a deep breath. The sea monsters were all hunted by their own party. If the other party wanted to snatch them, a huge battle was inevitable. Now that Su-Chen was not here, he was the one in charge here. It was inevitable that he would be a little nervous. If they dare to snatch our sea monsters, we'll kill them. Chao Ran shouted softly, his eyes cold. Brother Chao is right. Whoever dares to snatch our things, we'll kill them. Sherdaniu weighed the sky hammer in his hand and said arrogantly, as if he did not care about the huge ship in front of them at all. Wu Yang nodded. A sense of pride welled up in his heart. Get ready. If they don't know what's good for them, we'll teach them a lesson. Although Su-Chen was not around, he still had the intelligent chariot, the level 5 overlord turtle, and the level 5 mechanical soldier. In the Forgotten Worries Ocean, no matter which force it was, they would not have such powerful strength. Therefore, there was nothing to worry about. When the heavenly overlord turtle swam to the area where the sea demon beasts were killed, more than 100 people had already disembarked from the giant ship. They were in a dozen small boats, fishing for the mutated corpses in the sea. Seeing this, Wu Yang and the others got out of the car. The appearance of the heavenly overlord turtle naturally attracted the other party's attention. At the front of the ship, a burly man in animal skin glanced at Wu Yang and the others and shouted, "What are you doing here? Why are you here?" Since the heavenly overlord tortoise had restrained its aura and pressure, it looked like an ordinary sea demon beast, and did not attract his attention. The sea demon beasts here were all killed by us. Leave quickly, and I'll pretend that nothing happened. Wu Yang released the aura of a level 3 evolver and warned him. Level 3 evolver. The burly man in animal skin frowned slightly and laughed wildly. You're boasting shamelessly. Do you think you can kill so many sea demon beasts with just you? Although a level 3 evolver was strong, it was not enough to threaten him. Because he was also a level 3 evolver and had many people, he was not afraid of Wu Yang's threat. So you want to force us to attack? Wu Yang's face turned cold. Chapter 283. Do you think you are worthy of fighting us? The beast-skinned man sneered disdainfully, then said with an arrogant face, Do you know who we are? We are from Tan Haicheng. Are you blind? How dare you threaten us? Tan Haicheng was one of the top forces in the area. The mayor, Tan Sihai, was a powerful level 4 magician. In addition, there were 12 other forces in the area that had formed an alliance with Tan Haicheng. They were nicknamed the 13 cities of the Forgotten Ocean. Other than Tan Hai, who was a level 4 magician, There were 2 other level 4 evolvers. The 13 cities were united. When faced with an external enemy, they would fight together. In the Forgotten Ocean, they were the strongest force. No one dared to provoke them. Therefore he found Wu Yang's threat ridiculous. Hearing that, Yang Hao and the others all turned to look at Wu Yang angrily. Su Chen was not here, so Wu Yang was their leader. Before they attacked, they had to ask for Wu Yang's opinion. Wu Yang gripped the meteoric iron sword in his hand. Just as he was about to reply, a mocking voice came from afar. Who does Tan Haiqing think he is? Even if the 13 cities of the Forgotten Ocean were added together, they are nothing in my eyes. It's Su Chen. He's back. Tan Lin's expression changed. She turned around and looked back. She was too familiar with this voice. It was definitely Su Chen's voice. Chenggu. Yang Hao and the others' eyes lit up. The person who had come was Su Chen. When I entered the Forgotten Ocean, I checked the nearby forces on the central control screen. That's how I found out about the 13 cities of the Forgotten Ocean. Although I don't know the strength of the 13 cities, even level 5 evolvers would be killed if they provoked him. Who is so arrogant? Do you want to die? The man with animal skin's face darkened when he heard that someone dared to look down on Tan Haiqing. He looked in the direction of the voice. When he saw a young man coming over on the waves, he was stunned. What's going on? Someone is walking freely on the sea? Am I seeing things? Or was he dreaming? Behind the strong man with animal skin stood more than a dozen subordinates. At this moment, all of them were bewildered. One of the subordinates walked up to the animal skin brawny man and reminded him, "My lord, they don't come with good intentions. What should we do?" The brawny man with animal skin rolled his eyes, and a cruel look appeared on his face. He said fiercely, "You're just playing tricks. Those who offend our Tan Haiqing will die. Wait for my signal later." Although it was strange to walk on the waves, it did not prove how strong one was. Especially when he saw how young Su Chen was, he was even less worried. Su Chen. Chenggu. As Su Chen approached, everyone greeted him in unison. Su Chen smiled faintly, then turned his gaze to the top of the giant ship and said sternly, "Tan Haiqing's people, get lost immediately, or you will be buried here. Let's see who will die today." The strong man with animal skin brawny man's face was ferocious. Then he waved his hand and shouted angrily, "Attack together and destroy them." As soon as he finished speaking, the dozen small boats that were still fishing for the sea monsters' corpses rushed toward Su Chen. At the same time, the giant ship also started moving and crushed toward the heavenly overlord turtle. "You're courting death." Su Chen's eyes turned cold. He held the enchanted divine saber high above his head with both hands. After infusing enough thunder magic power, he slashed at the giant ship from afar. What is he trying to do? In the eyes of the strong man with animal skin brawny man, Su Chen's action made him feel very strange. Just when he was a little confused, he saw a thick blue torrent shooting toward him. Feeling the terrifying thunder magic power, the strong man with animal skin brawny man's face changed drastically. Even his heart stopped beating. Chapter 284. He is a lightning element magician. But why is his lightning element spell so terrifying? The man with animal skin screamed in his heart as he saw the blue torrent rushing towards him. He had seen lightning element spells before because Tan Sihai was a level 4 lightning element magician. However, the level 4 spell that Tan Sihai released was not on the same level as Su Chen's. The power of Su Chen's lightning torrent had exceeded that of a level 4 spell. It was even stronger than a level 5 spell. The man with animal skin was only a level 3 evolver. He could not even block a level 4 spell. Facing the lightning torrent, which was beyond level 5, his eyes were filled with despair. The others on the giant ship also felt the approach of death. They all fled for their lives. In the next moment, the blue torrent crashed into the giant ship. With a thunderous boom, it turned into thousands of lightning bolts and wreaked havoc. The man with animal skin was the first to be hit. He was directly struck by a lightning bolt and turned into ashes. The others also lost their lives one by one. After a few breaths, The lightning dissipated. The hundreds of people on the giant ship were all turned into ashes or charred corpses without exception. The giant ship itself was also riddled with holes. With a crisp crack, the entire ship broke into pieces and turned into a pile of wood shavings floating on the surface of the sea. Witnessing this scene, everyone was stunned. The surroundings fell into an eerie silence. One move. Just one move. Not only did he kill hundreds of people, but he also destroyed a giant ship that was hundreds of meters long. Su Chen's strength was displayed to the extreme. Although Wu Yang and the others had some understanding of Su Chen and had seen Su Chen kill his enemies, they were still shocked. At this moment, they were still shocked by the scene in front of them. As for Tan Haiqing and the others who were driving the small boats and wanted to charge over, they were scared out of their wits. When had they ever seen such a terrifying and powerful existence? Tan Sihai was known as the strongest person in the 13 cities of the Forgotten Worries Sea. But in front of Su Chen, it was not even worth a fart. Knowing that they had provoked an unparalleled existence, Tan Haiqing's people desperately rowed their boats and fled in all directions. Su Chen glanced around and ordered the intelligent war chariot. Satoshi, kill them. Yes. The intelligent war chariot controlled the ungraded Gatling gun and fired wildly. Tut tut tut. Under the intense firepower, Tan Haiqing's men and their ships were riddled with holes. Screams could be heard from the sea. However, there was still a small boat. Because it was too far away, it luckily managed to escape with its life. Su Chen was too lazy to chase after such small fries. He turned around and said, "All right, let's get to work." More than 1,000 sea beasts were killed, and more than 100 fragments were dropped. Su Chen stepped onto the surface of the sea and ran towards the nearest fragment. The others also began to fish out the corpses of the sea beasts and dug out the energy stones. Su Chen grabbed a black fragment, and a strange voice echoed in his mind. Picked up, Earth Vein Fire Meteorite Fragment X1, 9/10. The fragment is not full and cannot be used. It can be exchanged for energy points. Not exchanging. Su Chen muttered to himself. After collecting several times, he had already collected 9 pieces of Earth Vein Fire Meteorite. He only needed one more to use. Moreover, its exchange standard in the Doomsday Mall was 10 energy points per fragment. It could be said that as long as Su Chen was willing, he could exchange it at any time. However, thinking that Earth Vein Fire Meteorite might be the same thing as Big Dipper Star Fragment Stone, he dismissed the idea. Big Dipper Star Fragment Stone weighed 10,000 pounds. He could not carry it at all. Even if he exchanged it, it would be useless. He might as well save the energy points and talk about Heavenly Hundredfold Strength Technique first. Chapter 285. After a while, Su Chen calmed himself down and continued to pick up fragments. Picked up Pepper Seed Fragment X1, 1/1. Fragments are full, can be used or exchanged for energy points. Su Chen hesitated for a moment before exchanging it for energy points. Although it was the first time Pepper Seed appeared, it was useless to keep it. Then he grabbed another purple shard. Picked up Abyss Ghost Howling Wind Fragment X1, 1/10. Fragments are full, cannot be used, can be exchanged for energy points. Not exchanging. Su Chen's heart skipped a beat. The name Abyss Ghost Howling Wind sounded like a wind element item because it had the word wind in it. Just like Ancient Thunder, there was the word thunder in it. Serene Pool Divine Wood, there was the word wood in it. Thinking of this, Su Chen was looking forward to it. He used wind element spells more often, and was more comfortable with them. However, compared to thunder, wood, ice and fire element spells, the power was obviously weaker. The reason was that he did not fuse with a wind element item. If Abyss Ghost Howling Wind was a wind element item, it would undoubtedly increase his wind element magic by a level, and his strength would definitely increase again. The appearance of Abyss Ghost Howling Wind made Su Chen excited, and the speed at which he picked up fragments increased by a lot. After picking up a dozen fragments in a row, a new item appeared. Picked up 56-inch color TV X1, 1/1. Fragments are full, can be used or exchanged for energy points. Su-chin did not expect that even a color TV could be dropped, and could not help but let his imagination run wild. After coming to the apocalypse, he had not watched TV for a long time, and he did miss it. However, was there a TV signal in the apocalypse? Su-chin thought about it for a moment, and decided to exchange for it. After receiving the feedback, he understood that 56-inch color TV was not broadcast by receiving a TV signal, but by placing a disc. This meant that as long as he had the disc, he could watch TV in the apocalypse. There were very few entertainment programs in the apocalypse, and recently, everyone was a bit tired of playing landlord. If he could watch TV, it would undoubtedly make his life more colorful. After putting the 56-inch color TV into his storage bag, Su-chin continued to pick up the fragments. Picked up, upgrade gem fragment asterisk, 1-1. The fragment is full, can be used or exchanged for energy points. Use. Picked up Sora Always movie disc fragment asterisk 1-1-1. The fragment is full, can be used or exchanged for energy points. Su-chin's expression became a little strange. He felt that he had been at loggerheads with Sora Aoi recently. The Sora Aoi blow-up doll had just been released, and now there was a short movie. F***CK, can't you change it? Of course, Su-chin was only fantasizing. Whether it was old teacher Tsung's video or other people's video, he couldn't exchange for it. If this was shown on TV, what would people think of him? Wouldn't his image crumble? Dispelling distracting thoughts, Su-chin grabbed a red fragment. Picked up level 3 Constitution Potion fragment asterisk 1-1-1. The fragment is full, can be used or exchanged for energy points. Use. Level 3 Constitution Potion had not appeared for a long time, and the value of this item was very high. Yang Hao and the others were now level 2 evolvers, and they would definitely use it in the future. Chapter 286. After putting away the level 3 physique potion, Su-chin locked his eyes on an orange fragment. The orange fragment was a mutated beast. There were many types of mutated beasts. Some were very strong, and some were very weak. He had picked up a few orange fragments before, but none of them could be used. Either there were too many fragments and he could not gather all of them, or the mutated beast was too weak and was not worth it. Su-chin did not have much hope for this orange fragment. Picked up Super Ancient Devouring Gorilla Mosquito Fragment X1-110. Fragments are not full and cannot be used. Can be exchanged for energy points. Not exchanging. This orange fragment might have dropped a mosquito, but the name sounded a little pretentious. Super, Devouring, and Ancient. These three words undoubtedly raised the level of this mosquito. It also made Su-chin have high expectations for it. However, he was still short of 9 fragments. He did not think too much and continued to pick up fragments. Picked up Eternal Youth Fruit Seed Fragment X1-110. Fragments are not full and cannot be used. Can be exchanged for energy points. Not exchanging. This was the first time that he needed to gather enough seeds to use them. This also meant that the value of this seed was very high. It was not something that the previous seeds could compare to. Su-chin was a little suspicious. Was the fruit of the Eternal Youth Fruit Seed used to preserve one's youth forever? If it was, then its value was very high, especially since he still had the longevity fruit tree. If he used the two together, he could really achieve immortality. After a while, Su-chin took a deep breath and continued to pick up fragments. Picked up 100 Top Chinese Songs Discs Fragment X1-1-1. Fragments are full. Can be used or exchanged for energy points. Use. Picked up Omnipotent Pressure Cooker Fragment X1-1-1. Fragments are full. Can be used or exchanged for energy points. Use. He was a little tired of eating barbecued meat every day. Changing his diet, stewing soup was a good choice. Su-chin happily kept it in his storage bag. Picked up Grape Tree Seed Fragment X1-1-1. Fragments are full. Can be used or exchanged for energy points. Use. It was the first time the grape seed appeared. After Su-chin got it, he planted it into the plant space. Picked up Level 1 Pulse Cannon Fragment, *1, 1-3. The fragments are not full, so they cannot be used. They can be exchanged for energy points. Exchange for energy points. Half an hour later, all the fragments were collected. Suchin was quite satisfied with his harvest this time. After resting for a while, when he was about to collect the corpses of the sea beasts, the intelligent war chariot suddenly sounded an alarm. Warning, there are 3 large ships rapidly approaching us. They are currently 10 kilometers away. They are expected to meet in 10 minutes. Someone from the 13 Forget Worries sea cities came. Suchin narrowed his eyes. The 13 Forget Worries ocean cities were the largest power in the vicinity. Moreover, he had just destroyed one of Tan Haiching's giant warships, so it was reasonable for the other party to seek revenge. However, Suchin could not figure it out. The lightning-type spell techniques he had just unleashed could be described as earth-shattering. It also proved that his strength was unparalleled. The other party should have known this, so why did he still dare to come? Was he fearless? Or was he fearless because he was ignorant? Since he could not figure it out, Suchin decided not to dwell on it. No matter what the other party's motive was, as long as they dared to provoke him, only death awaited them. Chapter 287. Then, Suchin continued to collect the corpses of the sea beasts. When he was halfway through collecting, 3 large ships approached. Seeing that the other party was coming menacingly, Wu Yang and the others stopped collecting the sea beasts. Each of them held their weapons and became cautious. Suchin narrowed his eyes and glanced at the 3 large ships. These 3 ships, from the outside, were no different from the previous giant ship. However, they were obviously much smaller. They were more than 100 meters long, only 1/3 the size of the giant ship. At this moment, on the bow of the middle ship, there were more than a dozen people standing around. The leader was an old man with high cheekbones and eyes that were as small as beans. After looking at Suchin and the others, he asked a middle-aged man next to him, "Is it them?" "City Lord, it's them. The one who released the thunder technique is the young man standing at the front." The middle-aged man hurriedly replied. When he spoke, he was still a little scared. He was one of the people on the small ship that escaped. Previously, the scene of Suchin sinking the giant ship with one move was still vivid in his mind. At that time, he was almost scared to death on the spot. Meeting Suchin again, even with so many masters in the Forgotten Worries Ocean, he still felt a little uneasy. "Boy, you killed our Tan Haiching's people? You destroyed our giant ship? Do you know your crime?" The bean-eyed old man's face was gloomy as he shouted angrily. He was none other than the city lord of Tan Haiching, Tan Sihai. He was also the leader of the 13 cities of the Forgotten Worries Ocean. When he learned that Tan Haiching's giant ship was destroyed and his subordinates were slaughtered, he was so angry that his lungs almost exploded. Whether it was the giant ship or his subordinates, they were all important trump cards for him to maintain his position in the Forgotten Worries Ocean. Now that they were all destroyed by Suchin, his position in the Forgotten Worries Ocean was not so stable. Therefore, today he must kill Suchin and the others to restore Tan Haiching's prestige. He wanted to let the others know that Forget Worries Ocean was still his world. Of course, he also knew how powerful Suchin was. In order to kill an expert like Suchin, one had to be fully prepared. On this trip, he had brought along a treasure that was specially designed to restrain Suchin. So he was very confident. "You people from Tan Haiching actually dared to snatch my sea demon beast. It can only be said that you are courting death." Suchin's face was full of contempt. He snorted coldly and said, "If you know what's good for you, scram immediately. Otherwise, I'll kill all of you." "Ha." Tan Sihai laughed wildly, then stared at Suchin, his eyes exuding a bone-chilling coldness. He gritted his teeth and said, "I know you are a powerful magic psychic master, but you are still too inexperienced to act tough in front of me, Tan Sihai. Today, this old man will completely suppress you." As soon as he finished speaking, he waved his hand, and something that looked like a ruby slowly floated into the sea. Yang Hao spat at the big ship where Tan Sihai was, His eyes were full of sarcasm. This old man with the surname Tan is quite good at acting tough. He still wants to suppress Chungu? Chao Ran, who was next to him, echoed. Some people's brains don't work well when they get old. They even dared to provoke Chungu. They have no one to blame, but themselves for their long lives. Sherdaniu sighed and sighed. They are already so old. Isn't it good to live? In their hearts, Su Chun was an invincible existence. Tan Sihai was so arrogant that he wanted to arm wrestle with Su Chun. This kind of behavior was tantamount to suicide. Su Chen's attention was always on the ruby. He faintly felt that the ruby contained a strange power that made him a little uncomfortable. Haha. Kid, under the light of my anti-magic gem, you have less than 10% of your magical power left. Let's see how you are going to fight me? At this moment, Tan Sihai laughed wildly again. Chapter 288. Su Chen circulated his magic power, and felt that it was indeed a little sluggish. Although he was a little surprised, he did not take it to heart. Magic power was only one of his many means. His opponent was too naive to think that he could defeat him with just a piece of anti-magic gem. Do you think you can show off in front of me by imprisoning my magic power? Su Chen rubbed his nose and sneered. Then, with a flash of purple light on his feet, he stepped into the sea and charged towards Tan Sihai at a ghostly speed. What a fast speed! Is he a high-level evolved person? Could he be a level 5 evolved person? Mayor, what should we do? Seeing Su Chen charging at them with lightning speed, the people on the ship were a little panicked. Tan Sihai's eyelids also twitched. Originally, he thought that Su Chen was just a psychic. He did not think that Su Chen was also an evolved person. And judging from his speed, it was very likely that he was a level 5 evolved person. Let's attack together. We can't let him get here. Tan Sihai roared and raised his hand to shoot out a violent thunder spell. He knew that once a powerful evolved person like Su Chen got close, it would be a disaster for them. So he did not hesitate to stop Su Chen. The others reacted and attacked at the same time. Dozens of psychic casters released spells together. Icicles, fireballs and violent thunder spells flew out continuously. Those evolved people did not have long-range attacks, but they took out bows and arrows and shot at Su Chen. For a time, all kinds of spells were thrown at Su Chen from all directions. Hundreds of sharp arrows pierced the sky and whistled towards Su Chen. At this moment, the whole sky was covered in the color of magic. The magic waves emitted from it were abnormally terrifying. The sound of the air being pierced deeply into everyone's eardrums. Even though Wu Yang and the others were far away, they still felt the waves of pressure, and their breathing became much more rapid. Although he knew that Su Chen was very strong, in the face of such an indiscriminate attack, could he survive? Tan Lin and Yang Qian couldn't help but feel nervous. Their palms were sweating. The expressions of Yang Hao and the other two turned ugly. Kid, let's see how you're going to act tough now. A cruel expression appeared on Tan Sihai's face. Even a level 5 evolver would not be able to survive the attack of dozens of spells and hundreds of arrows. At this moment, he already regarded Su Chen as a dead man. Su Chen scoffed at this. He didn't even try to dodge, allowing the spells and arrows to come at him. In the next moment, the flying spell exploded around him, setting off a monstrous wave that drowned Su Chen's figure. Following closely behind, the sharp arrows pierced into the place where Su Chen was standing one after another. Haha, you're dead meat. Seeing this scene, Tan Sihai laughed wildly again. The others were also excited and hooted. I thought this kid was very powerful. It turns out that he only knows how to act tough. Going against the 13 Forgotten Worries Sea Cities, he must be tired of living. So what if he's a level 5 evolver? Under our joint efforts, didn't he still die without leaving even a speck of dust? You're too naive. Just as the people of the 13 Forgotten Worries Sea Cities were celebrating, a cold snort suddenly rang in their ears. Immediately after, a tall and handsome figure slowly walked out from the waves that filled the sky. It's him. Why is he still alive? My eyes must be playing tricks on me. He can't possibly survive. When they saw that the person who walked out was Su Chen, The people of the 13 Forgotten Worries Sea cities screamed as if they had seen a ghost. Chapter 289. What was even harder for them to accept was that when Su-chin walked out, he patted his clothes a few times with a faint smile on his face. He was completely unharmed from the beginning to the end. How could this be? Could it be that those spells and arrows were all fake? Or did they attack the wrong target? Or was Su-chin so powerful that he could ignore such powerful attacks? Unable to figure out the situation, the people of the 13 Forget Worries Sea cities fell into deep shock and confusion. Do you think a bunch of ants like you can cause trouble in front of me? You overestimate yourselves. Su-chin sneered and walked forward slowly. With the ancient godfiend body, he could ignore any attacks below the same level. Tan Si-hai was the strongest among them, but he was only a level 4 Dharma psychic. How could he hurt him? Although Su-chin walked slowly, every step he took made the hearts of the people of the 13 Forget Worries Sea cities tremble. It was as if they felt that death was about to come. Finally, they couldn't take it anymore and tried to persuade Tan Si-hai. City Lord, he's not human. Let's run. Alliance Master, take a step back and you'll be safe. Su-chen's strength had exceeded their understanding. Arrows couldn't hurt him, spells didn't work, and he was a terrifying existence that couldn't be killed at all. How could they have the courage to resist? At this moment, they wished they could grow a pair of wings and fly away from this place. Retreat, return to Tanhai City, leave immediately. Tan Si-hai came back to his senses and hurriedly ordered. He was already scared out of his wits by Su-chin. He only wanted to escape as far as possible. As long as he didn't run into Su-chin, he could escape to the ends of the earth. What face? Dignity? Compared to his life, all of that was worth less than a fart. Can you escape? Su-chin sneered and then ran forward at full speed. Just as he approached the ship, he leaped up and punched the air. In an instant, 100 golden fist shadows appeared in the air. Each fist shadow emitted an extremely fierce aura, causing the void to buzz and tremble. What's this? Tan Si-hai was so scared that his legs began to tremble. The others could not even raise their heads under the pressure of this violent fist aura. Pegasus Meteor Fist. Su-chin bellowed and punched out. Bang bang bang. What followed was a series of 100 explosions. Under the merciless devastation of the Pegasus Meteor Fist, the ship, which was over 100 meters long, was directly smashed into pieces. Tan Si-hai and the others also became a part of the powder. After falling into the sea, they finally disappeared without a trace. Oh my God! Run quickly. He's a devil. The people on the other 2 ships were scared out of their wits. They tried their best to steer their ships away. His speed was quite fast. In the blink of an eye, he had already fled a distance of over 100 meters. Su-chin curled his lips and ordered the intelligent chariot. Satoshi, launch 2 torpedoes and kill them. Yes. The intelligent war chariot turned on the torpedo launcher and launched 2 torpedoes. Boom boom. With 2 deafening explosions, the 2 ships sank to the bottom of the sea one after another. Okay, let's continue. Su-chin smiled faintly, and then walked to the anti-magic gem. After looking at it, he put it into the storage bag. The anti-magic gem's function was still very strange. It seemed to be able to cut off the bridge between the body and the magic power. This aroused Su-chin's strong interest. He planned to study it when he had time. Chapter 290. An hour later, the sea beasts' bodies were dealt with, and everyone returned to the intelligent war chariot. Su-chin took out the universal pressure cooker and universal oven, and gave them to Yang Hao, asking him to prepare the meal. He then communicated with the intelligent war chariot. Satoshi, I have got the thunderstorm stones. There are 100 stones in total. Is it enough for the upgrade? Master, the upgrade of the magnetic storm net and torpedo requires 50 thunderstorm stones each. And the derivative thunderbolt requires 100 stones, the intelligent war chariot replied. How is the power of the magnetic storm net and torpedo after the upgrade? Su-chin was more concerned about this. As for the thunderbolt beam, he felt that it was not worth it because it required 100 stones, so he decided to use the thunderstorm stones on the magnetic storm net and torpedo. After the upgrade of the magnetic storm net, the coverage area doubled, but the power remained the same. After the torpedo upgrade, the power increased by 1/3. Hearing this, Suchin nodded slightly. Before the upgrade of the magnetic storm power source, it could kill more than 100 zombies below level 3 at once. After the upgrade, it could only kill zombies below level 3, but the number of zombies it could kill had doubled. As for the torpedo, it could kill about 300 sea beasts at once. After the upgrade, it could kill 400. Suchin was still not satisfied with the performance after the upgrade. After a while, he installed the thunderstorm stones in the groove below the central control screen. After the upgrade of the intelligent war chariot, Suchin turned to look at the central control screen and continued to look for the sea beasts. At this moment, the intelligent war chariot spoke again. "Master, the gem you got before is very useful to me. I can create a new attack weapon." "Gem? The anti-magic gem?" Suchin muttered, took out the anti-magic gem and asked, "Satoshi, is it this gem?" "It is this gem," the intelligent war chariot replied with certainty. Suchin installed the anti-magic gem in the groove and asked, "Satoshi, what kind of weapon can you create?" It was true that the anti-magic gem was a good item, but as long as it could increase the attack power of the intelligent war chariot, no matter how good it was, he would install it on the intelligent war chariot. By consuming this anti-magic gem, I can generate anti-magic light waves that can cover an area of 1,000 meters, the intelligent war chariot explained. "What's the use of the anti-magic light wave?" Suchin could faintly feel that this thing wasn't simple, so he asked urgently. "Its function is to confine a psychic's magic power, and its confinement rate is 100%. There's a limit to the confinement ability. It can't exceed my own level." A pleasant surprise, a pleasant surprise. Suchin's eyes lit up with excitement. The anti-magic light wave was only effective against magic psyche masters. Any magic psyche master who was enveloped by the light wave would not be able to use any spells, and would be reduced to a cripple. Of course, the prerequisite was that the level of the enveloped Dharma psychic must not exceed the level of the intelligent war chariot. In other words, the intelligent war chariot was now at level 3, and the anti-magic light wave could only be used against spellcasters below level 3. Even so, the might of the anti-magic light wave was no small matter. In addition, how many magic psyche masters above level 4 could there be on Thousand Feather Island? Probably only a handful. Moreover, the intelligent war chariot wouldn't stay at level 3 forever. It was an upgraded war chariot. As long as there were enough materials, it could continue to be upgraded. At that time, the power of the anti-magic light wave would reach a new level. Suchin calmed down and continued to search for the whereabouts of the sea monsters. Chapter 291. Needless to say, there were many sea beasts in the Forget Worries Ocean, and they often came in groups. Suchin soon found a group of about 2,000 sea beasts. Before setting off to hunt, he decided to fill his stomach first. Especially since he had just obtained the omnipotent pressure cooker, he wanted to taste it. After eating and drinking, everyone embarked on the hunting journey. In the next few days, Suchin kept hunting sea beasts. No matter how many sea beasts there were in the Forget Worries Ocean, they could not withstand this kind of killing. In the end, not even a shadow of the sea beasts could be seen. Sea beasts were not like zombies. They also had intelligence. Seeing a large number of their companions die, they migrated out of the Forget Worries Ocean and went to other sea areas or even the deep sea. Without any sea beasts to kill, Suchin did not want to wander around the Forget Worries Ocean. As for going to other sea areas or the deep sea, he had no intention of doing so for the time being. Of course, after killing all the zombies and mutant beasts in Qianyu Island, he would naturally go to other sea areas. After glancing at the central control screen, Suchin chose a place to land. When he arrived on land, he immediately put the Heavenly Overlord turtle into the pet raising space. The initial space of the pet raising space was only 10 cubic meters, which was definitely not enough to hold the heavenly overlord turtle. However, Suchin upgraded it to 300 cubic meters, which was enough to hold the heavenly overlord turtle. In addition, the storage bag was also upgraded to 300 cubic meters. Planting space had also been upgraded, but the upgrade was smaller, only 100 cubic meters. For this, Suchin used up all the upgrade gems and even spent a lot of energy points. However, compared to the consumption, the harvest was more abundant. During this period, tens of thousands of sea beasts were killed, and thousands of fragments were dropped. Most of them were exchanged for energy points. His energy points had already exceeded 8,000, and this was under the condition that he had spent some. Otherwise, it would have been even more. As for the sea beasts' corpses, the storage bag was almost filled to the brim. There were tens of thousands of energy stones of various levels. It could be said that Suchin made a lot of money on this trip to the Forget Worries Ocean. Suchin, where are we going next? After arriving on land, the intelligent war chariot remained where it was. Wu Yang asked. Suchin originally wanted to return to Tiannan Colony. After all, there were still a lot of zombies there. However, when he glanced at the central control screen, he realized that the Fire Wolf encampment was on the way to Tiannan encampment, so he decided to take a look. Let's go to the Fire Wolf colony first, then return to the Tiannan colony, Suchin said. Upon hearing that they were going to Tiannan, Wu Yang, Chao Ran, and Tanlin became excited. After all, they had lived in the heavenly south for many years, so they had more or less feelings for each other. Next, he locked onto the location of the Fire Wolves' gathering place, and the intelligent war chariot moved at full speed. Chungu, do you want to fight? With nothing to do, Yang Hao took out his poker cards and invited Suchin to play Fight the Landlord. Let's not play Fight the Landlord today. Let's listen to music. Suchin smiled, then took out the color TV and installed the 100 Network Hit Songs CD. The first song to play was Your Answer. Maybe the world is like this. I'm also on the road. No one can tell. The light of dawn will cross the darkness. Break all fear. I can find the answer. His deep voice and melodious music made the crowd intoxicated. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Sword of Destiny YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.